Based in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
Are you ready to hit the gridiron and make your mark? The Cleveland Cobras are recruiting players and coaches for the upcoming Premier Amateur Football League season. We're looking for passion, grit, and the relentless drive to win. Whether you're a seasoned vet or hungry rookie, your shot starts now. Join a brotherhood, build a legacy, strike with the Cobras. Follow us on Facebook at Cleveland Cobras Football, or for league information, visit PAFLfootball.com to get started today. Team Pride Cobras.
Good Irish Mike. Saturday morning sports page coming right back at you. Dave Clark. I'm Pat Lucia. Western Reserve Radio is the station you're listening to. Let's get Irish Mike back. Hey, Irish Mike.
Hi, Pat. I sent you, I'm talking about Penn State and James Franklin.
Yes.
One of the strengths he's always had is recruiting. That's been his the bugaboo, he's recruit. And I sent you, yesterday morning, a class of 2027, so he's a current high school junior, is one of the top wide receivers in the country out of the Pittsburgh area. Well, he decommitted from Penn State yesterday. And now
did he?
He's in other schools. And the top running back in the country for the class of 2027 is another high school junior. He committed to Penn State a year ago. He said after his game last night that he's now open up to taking visits to Georgia, Oregon, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. So, and they've both been committed to Penn State for like the last year. They committed when they were high school sophomores, and these are two top players. They're the two top players in Pennsylvania for the class of 2027, but they're also two of the top players in the entire country. So when fans see this, Pat, okay, they see which way this ship is heading.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
Well, and that's, see, the whole problem you're going to ultimately have here, I think we're going to have to see what Penn State does the rest of the year.
Correct.
If they lose to Ohio State, they'll have 3 losses.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be able to get into the playoff with 3 losses or not.
No.
It's going to be hard to do.
Yes,
But
yes.
the way these teams, but this might be one of these weird years because these teams seem to be like cannibalizing themselves. There's just
Yeah.
I would not rule out a team with 3 losses getting in just because the way these teams are just like,
They
lost
could be
here.
that 12th team, right?
Right. They could get maybe somebody, somehow, somewhere they get in as a 12th team. I'm not ruling anything out. We still have a lot of football left here to play.
Yeah.
However, I think Penn State might be able to lose to Ohio State and maybe get in. That's really remote. But if they dump another game and Ohio State,
No,
they're out.
Or Ohio State and get demolished.
Yeah,
might be out,
if they get demolished by Ohio State,
Yeah, I think it's over.
it might be,
Yeah. I think that'll do
Then
it.
the only question Penn State's going to be dealing with is, the buyout.
Yeah, that's what they.
Because that's all,
If they get demolished by Ohio State, the donations are coming in.
Donations are going to be coming in from all the heavy boosters
Yeah,
to
that's
say,
right. Just get this guy out
we
of here.
need him out. And go to your boosters and say, go to the ones that have the money and the checkbooks, say, write a checkbook, write it,
Yeah.
we need money. And that's basically the bottom line. That's kind of where you're headed here with him. I just don't know if he survives this. I mean, I don't think he does. I'll be surprised if he does. The only thing, though, is there's a lot of money involved, and maybe the school, maybe they don't want to pay that money to buy him out. But see,
Yeah, that's
2026, it's $40 million. It's not cheap,
No, it's not.
and they have to make a decision what they really want to do. But again, I think that loss to UCLA.
That's a horrible loss.
It's a horrible loss, and I just go back to I hear all how great everything is, the talent on the team. But
Yeah, they got
again, you
talent.
played nobody, and then when you played a good team, you got beat, and then you go out to UCLA. maybe he looked at the UCLA as a 0-4. It'll just be a scrimmage. We'll just.
But if he does look at that as an 0-4 team and allow his team to focus on that, that's still a James Franklin problem.
It is.
Because you can't allow your team to. You got to take. I don't care if they 0-4 or 4-0. Look at them the same. We got to go out and dominate. And if I see a team like UCLA and you try to make play, I want to destroy them.
That's what I mean.
I mean, you go out and destroy this team.
Right.
And you go out there, and then I'm looking at no adjustments, and then he blame. I don't want to say that. Let me tell you, I'm taking it a little too far. But he doesn't seem to take ownership for some things. He'll say this happened, that. You're the head coach. If you see that you're not stopping this team, where's the adjustments? Maybe your defensive coordinator is not making any, but you're the head man. You see it going on. I can step into any area on my team and take over if I have to. And
don't you think, Dave, it's a fair statement to say you watched that ball game last week like I did, flipping back and forth. Drew Aller was the least of their problems last week.
Right? Absolutely.
He played well.
He actually played good.
Yes.
Yeah, he played good. And he made running. He actually ran the ball, good. And he tried to get them. He almost got them. Literally got them back. Yes, he got them back in the game, and he almost won the game on his. He put the team on his shoulders. Yes,
no question.
And he carried them. And if anything, his stock went up after that game.
Yeah, it did. And if you want to say anything positive, that right there, you've seen that this guy can take all this, and do it,
right?
Because they were playing terrible on defense.
Yeah, defense is just horrendous.
I mean, by the way, didn't they pay Jim Knowles $3.1 million to be the defense coordinator?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Knowles was the D coordinator, and they paid him a boatload of money to get him from Ohio State.
And
correct.
And he was a very good.
He won a national. He was the national. He got the team national title last year. I mean, it was his defense.
And I'm like,
so what happened?
Yeah,
I don't know what was going on.
I mean, I don't want to say this, but bottom line is,
I don't understand how, because he was a very good defense coordinator. I seen him make no adjustments, and that's not what he did at Ohio State. He made adjustments all the time.
That's what he did.
Now this here, nothing. I don't know what's going on in Happy Valley, but it's not happy. I guarantee you that.
No. And I think the one thing people get, I had a buddy last week, Pat, in the Minnesota-Ohio State game. He was criticizing the Minnesota coach. I think they went for it 4th and 1 from their own 42, in the second quarter. They were down 14-3.
Yeah.
He said, what a stupid decision. Well, UCLA did some crazy stuff, too. They onside kicked in the first quarter. If you're undermatched, right, the other team has a lot more talent than you, and you're a 25-point underdog like Minnesota and UCLA, don't you have to take chances, right?
Right.
Yeah,
and they might not work. But you got to take the chances.
And
now James Franklin said that, right?
Edwards, if you're doing the Herm Edwards, we're playing to win the game.
Right.
Then if you're undermatched, you're undersized, and you're a high underdog.
You take chances.
Notre Dame plays in South Bend today against North Carolina State. They're a 23-point favorite. I expect North Carolina State to run a fake punt, a fake field goal, an onside, something dangerous.
Yep.
That if it doesn't work, people say, "Oh, how stupid was that?" Well, you're trying to win, and you're a big underdog.
Well, who made that comment? James Franklin?
What's that?
When you saying that they went on?
No, my buddy texted me. He was criticizing the Minnesota coach.
Oh, yeah.
State fan goes, how stupid was that for him going for that?
No, you got
that's
to.
That's just bad coaching. I'm thinking he's trying to win the game.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because,
you got to take chances.
Yeah. I mean, you have to when you are undermanned, the talent, you're under talent, all that.
Yeah.
So you try all the stops. What you got to lose against you playing the number one team in the nation? I got to do all kinds of different little things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame the Minnesota coach Fleck for.
No.
I mean, I know, I didn't think it was a good idea, but I understood what he was doing. He said, 4th and 3. They were up close to midfield or at their own 40. They didn't get it. And then Ohio State scored.
At the time.
And then they scored the next. That's when Ohio State scored on the pass play to Tate down the middle of the field. That he got one-on-one coverage.
Change.
Yeah, right. Boom. One play. And it went from 14 to 21. Then you said, this looks like
game's over.
Game over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of did him in. Now people are critical, saying you should have punted, make Ohio State work the field. With the way Ohio State was moving the ball, you knew
but see,
it wouldn't have mattered.
Let's say he would have made it. Oh, what a great coach!
Right? Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. He's daring. He's this, that. You're already out, man. You got. Sometimes you got to try. I do agree with you, Pat. You look at it and say, "Nah, that's kind of questionable what
Yeah,
you're doing."
kinda.
But
But,
I
yeah.
do understand why he's doing it.
Yeah, I know what he did.
He knows he has no
Yeah, he
shot.
knew he was. Yeah, he had to do something, get the first down, maybe get a drive going. Maybe you get lucky, score the touchdown, you make it 14-10.
Yep.
And now you got a really game. But
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking at
It
Florida
turned-
played Texas.
yeah, yeah,
I was looking at they were blitzing,
yeah.
and I was like, "What is these guys doing a zero blitz?" They didn't care. They kept doing it.
They kept doing it.
Manny didn't know what to do with the football. Them guys were
The
coming
only thing
from
we
every
were talking at the
angle.
lunch table, Dave, you remember last year in the playoff game, Arizona State lost to Texas in overtime, and I think they had them 4th and 14, and one play to win the game, and they did a zero blitz, and Texas picked up the blitz and threw a touchdown pass with no safety in the middle of the field.
Yep.
And people look back at that play and go, why would you just rush 4, drop 7, right?
Yep.
But you're trying to win the game.
You're
and
trying to win
sometimes
the
word
game. You're
doesn't
trying to
work.
seal this thing.
Pat, do you want to do college picks? I know
Yep.
you guys got to do your pro picks too. So
Yeah,
maybe,
we'll go into
I'll let you guys
noon.
do. I'll get up the line if we get our
You
college
got
picks.
okay, yeah, because we got we're going to noon
Oh, sure.
today, so we have some time here.
Gotcha.
Let's go. Let's do the college picks.
You
Let's
sure?
do it.
Dave, well,
What was our record last week? How did we do
let's go. Okay,
Hey,
okay.
blasphemy! Don't ever talk about records again. We were horrible.
Last week,
No, we was okay in college, I think.
last week we were respectable.
Yeah.
You were 5-4. Irish Mike was Bob Gessler was 5-4.
Look at Bob.
And Bob's not here, but he's going to bring when we do the pro picks. He's bringing the wild dogs into the studio to help us out because those dogs are wild dogs. But anyway, Dave Clark was 5-4. I was 6-3. Don't ask me why, but you were for the year. Irish Mike is 21-15. Dave is 22-23, and I'm actually really good at 27-18.
Yeah.
NFL, we won't even talk about. NFL, we need the dogs in here. I need the dogs, wild dogs. But anyway, that's how college was last week. We did okay. Hey, anytime you're over 500, you're doing good.
Yep.
My eyes, yeah. I mean, I've come to the conclusion that if you're above the Mendoza line of college picking and you're over 500. If you're better than 50% in anything, I think with picking games, you're good. I mean, these things are hard to do. Let's get to the college ranks, though. Ohio State is at Illinois. I did put this on. I was kind of debating, but it is 15 and a hook. For Illinois is getting 15 and a half at home, which shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody.
No.
Number one, Ohio State won last week. We saw that 42-3, and then Illinois beat Purdue 43-27. So everybody's beating up on Purdue, it seems. But that said, gentlemen, what say you, Irish Mike? I already know who I'm going. It's noon today on Fox. I'm going with the Buckeyes. I mean, I know it's a lot of points, and maybe Illinois could keep it close, and they might. But the way Ohio State's on a roll with those wide receivers and the quarterback, it is a road game. So again, it's a hostile environment. But they went out to Washington and played great there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see,
I'll go with Ohio State.
Ooh, this is a tough one here.
Yeah,
It is. Part of me is saying Illinois. 15 and a hook. Right?
15 and a hook.
No, I think Ohio State going to step up and let them know.
I think so too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ohio State.
I like the defense. I like Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator for Ohio State. They have a bend, but they don't break defense. I mean, I think they've given up, one touchdown this year?
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State? I mean, they gave a touchdown to Texas, right?
Right.
But then they beat Grambling. Did they give up? Maybe they give a touchdown to OU, or I got to look it up. But
It might have been over.
That was a long touchdown pass. OU hit a big long
okay,
touchdown pass.
that's 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And then they didn't give up a touchdown last week, or they didn't give up a touchdown. Yeah, on all their wins,
that's
and they didn't give a Washington was 2 field goals.
Yeah.
24-6.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to next one. Bama at Missouri.
That's a tough place.
ABC noon, and Missouri's getting 3 and a hook.
Missouri's home dog.
Home dog getting a hook.
I'm going to take the Missouri Tigers for the upset win of the day.
All right.
Straight up.
Yeah. I think I'm take Missouri too at home.
At home.
Alabama was playing. I don't know if I don't like going against Alabama's quarterback. I like Simpson even when they lost to Florida State.
I'm taking Bama because they have the better quarterback. I just think that Alabama's playing and they'll win.
The
3.5
Missouri quarterback transferred out of Penn State last year. Remember, he had to transfer during the playoffs, and James Franklin made an issue of that. He said the kid wanted to stay, but because of the rules,
the rules,
he had to leave.
He had to leave.
He was the backup at PSU.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I may go. I like him. I'm gonna go with Alabama.
Want to change it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Alabama and get a 3 and a hook up.
Yeah, I'll go Bama. Let's go to Indiana at Oregon. This is 3:30 today on CBS. And Oregon is laying 7 and a hook. Indiana travels across the country. I wonder if they're going to have the same problem that
James Franklin had. Well, at least they know their quarterback is familiar with Oregon. He's familiar with Oregon, the quarterback for Indiana. Mendoza played at Cal.
Mendoza's a good player.
Yeah, he played at Cal, and he was a good quarterback at Cal. So I'm going to – oh, man, they showed me something last week. I don't think they'll beat Oregon, but maybe they can stay within that 7 and a hook.
Cover. Does Oregon? I'll take Oregon because I just think they're at home.
I'll take Oregon as well.
Yeah.
Indiana, they've done a lot of great things, David Clark, but that coach has been proving, when he's played in big games, he's gotten blown out by Ohio State and Notre Dame last year.
Yeah.
I mean, when they play the big boys, they've had issues.
I think Oregon's one of the better. I think they're the
they
top.
are, but
they might be Ohio State, Oregon.
They are tough at home.
They're tough at home. I don't know. I'll take Oregon because
I'm just going to go.
Me too. I'll take Oregon.
I'm just going to go because I want to see it.
IU?
Yeah, I'm going to go because I'm watch the game, so I'm going to root for them.
Okay.
I just want to see upset.
Oklahoma at Texas. They're playing this in the Cotton Bowl. This is, what is it, the Red River rivalry? Say it quick. Yes, anyway. This
Oklahoma
game,
getting the points, aren't they?
1.5.
Oh.
So Oklahoma.
And this is a must-win for Texas, Pat.
They're
a must-win.
I mean, they and Penn State are in that same boat. They both have 2 losses.
Yeah.
And
they're both unranked right now. They're both unranked.
Unranked, and they were, top 4?
Yeah.
Texas was 1, or Penn State? Yeah, Texas 1, Ohio State 2, Penn State 3, or
something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. Penn State wasn't lower than 4
Clemson.
for sure. Yep.
And Clemson's the other one. Those 4 teams, of 3 of the 4 top teams are out of the top 25 already.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that goes to show you that the preseason polls mean absolutely nothing.
I'm going to be honest, I've never, not just now, I've never paid attention to that because college football is so unpredictable.
And now with NIL and the way these teams are in and out and building teams, parity is great because these teams are all over. You don't know what you're getting at in the start of the season. Yeah, that preseason poll is almost now, in this day and age, in the NIL era, an absolute joke.
Yeah.
So you got, this is almost a pick 'em.
I know.
Oh, and what's his name's going to, evidently it looks like is it Mattel?
Mateer, the quarterback?
Mateer is going to play.
Oh, is he? I was just getting ready to say I'm not taking Oklahoma without him.
Let me see.
Because he is.
Oh man, I was reading it and it's like I think he's going to be a game. Is it a game time decision?
Oh,
Mateer he's probable. Mateer is a probable play today. Wow. So he's been upgraded to probable. John Mateer's been upgraded to a probable. That was as of Thursday.
Yeah, they need him.
They need him. 17 days after the surgery for a broken bone in his throwing hand. How good is he going to be? Well, I don't know, but he's definitely a good quarterback.
Oh, yeah, he's a good quarterback. So,
but he's coming.
I don't know. This is a hard one.
I'm going to go with Pat. I'm going to go with Texas because it's absolutely must win. If they lose, they're eliminated, right? I mean, it's a must win for Texas, so I'll take a flyer And Arch Manning's looked really bad this year, and they're talking about maybe him having to transfer out after this year because obviously his accolades, his performance so far in the field has not lived up to all the hype. So
Where
I'm
would
just
he
going to go
go?
with Texas, make a flyer.
You're right though. I guess
I
if
got to
you
take Texas.
Oklahoma's undefeated.
But I'm concerned I can lose the 2 games in a row that you just did. I can lose that Indiana, trying to root for them, and then I take Texas the way they've been so inconsistent. I don't know.
No. I'm going to go Oklahoma. Texas isn't playing that good. I know that's a risk because of the quarterback.
That's what I'm worried about.
And that's what I'm worried about.
I don't know how good they're.
I don't know how good Texas really is. This is another team. They didn't look that good against Ohio State. They beat up on who? San Jose State. All right. And I know, but when they play against good teams, they don't play good. And they got beat last week by Florida. Down in Florida, they got hammered.
I'm gonna try Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'm gonna try. Man.
Yeah, this is
because I do like them better anyway. Oklahoma, I really do.
That's my gut tells me. I could be. You don't know any of these. We find that out in the NFL. Yeah. Like I said, this NFL's been one. We've been bad.
Yep.
College, at least, we've been respectable, but in NFL this year, we have been absolutely putrid. Let's get back to Florida at Texas A&M.
Ooh. Well.
Florida gets 7.5 at Texas A&M. Florida won last week against Texas. They're 2-3, mm-hmm. And obviously, it's Billy Napier's their head coach, and they keep saying they're going to fire him. like Woodward. It's every day. They're going to fire Billy Napier. Like that poor guy. I feel so sorry for him because he's got to just tune everything out and just say, "Yeah, do what you want to do with me, but I got to coach and play."
Yep.
And Pat. Last week they won at home in the Swamp against Texas 29-21, and the game was not that close. That score was very deceiving. They dominated Texas.
That's what they said.
Did.
Yeah, I heard. They did. Yeah, they did. They totally did.
You know what? I'm going to go. A&M's on a roll right now. They're at home, and they're playing well. Mike Elko hasn't playing well. I'm going to lay the 7.5. I'll take the Aggies and Texas A&M on home.
That's what I'm thinking, too. I mean...
Yeah. I'll go Texas A&M.
This is at A&M, right?
Yeah, it's at A&M.
Yeah, that's a hard place to play too.
12th man.
Yeah, I'm gonna take A&M.
Okay. Next one up is Georgia and Auburn. Auburn's getting 4.5 points. Home dog.
I'm taking Georgia.
I'm going to take Georgia as well.
Yeah, I'll take Georgia. Let's go to this one, Michigan at USC tonight, 7:30 on NBC. You can the Georgia Auburn's 7:30 ABC, so they're up against one another.
Wow,
a lot of
some good games. Man.
Great games this weekend. This is like a.
So you're saying to me, Pat Lucia, that Michigan's got to get on a plane and fly from Ann Arbor out to LA to play a game?
Isn't that shocking?
Travel?
Shocking.
Yeah. Really?
Man.
Oh, okay.
Shocking.
Wow, okay.
They're going to be playing at the Coliseum, not the Rose Bowl.
Right.
That was the other thing at the Rose Bowl. There were that was the other thing. The Rose Bowl, there's like hardly any fans there. Like that Rose Bowl was like,
fans than UCLA fans.
There were. Well, the problem is it's like 25 miles from the UCLA campus.
Right.
And it's an absolute disaster to get there.
Yes.
And it's like I think it could take like up to an hour. The traffic is horrible, and the parking's horrible. It's terrible.
And I know it's worse now than when I was back.
Right.
It was bad back then.
And it's only
it's
20 times. It's so and no one goes to the games, and they keep
and the
saying
stadium is super large. I mean,
right?
The Rose Bowl is 100 and something
over
thousand.
100,000. Yeah,
you're not feeling that.
No.
They need a stadium. They need to be closer to the campus.
That's what
That's why you don't have no kids there, really rooting them on.
No.
So
that's
good. In the. Well, Michigan is going to the Coliseum.
Okay, Michigan's going to the Coliseum, which they renovated the Coliseum and made it smaller, at least, try to give it more of a college look, which they needed to do.
Yeah, they had to. That thing is gigantic, too.
Michigan's getting 2 and a hook.
Yeah, USC at home, even though their defense don't play up to where they need to be, one thing they do play is offense. They can score. And I don't know if...
Well, Michigan's got the good defense. This will be a very good game.
But they might slow them down to 20-something. Michigan put 20-something?
Michigan will run the ball.
Yeah, and I'm thinking they can beat Michigan by 3. So I'm going to take USC at home.
Irish Mike, what say you?
Wow. You know what?
It's tough, though.
Obviously, USC travels to South Bend next Saturday night, so
Ooh,
they know
trap.
in South Bend. Yeah, that's back-to-back weeks for them. So,
That's not good. I didn't even know that. That's a trap.
Yeah, next week they play in South Bend. Yeah, so they got to travel cross country, Pat, and play Notre Dame. How about that? Travel.
Man, you see, you can't
I'm going to
keep...
go. I'm just going to take a flyer and take Michigan. And once again, it's a flyer.
Okay. I'll take USC. I'll take the home team. It's less than 3 points, so
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I go that way. Let's go to the BYU at Arizona, 8 o'clock tonight. This is BYU laying 2.5. So Arizona, the home dog, getting 2.5.
I like the
I'll
little
take Arizona. I'll take Arizona down the desert. I'll take Arizona Wildcats.
Yeah, they can score too. Another team.
Yeah.
If that quarterback gets on a roll, they're in trouble.
I'll go Arizona too. I'll take home team.
I'm taking. They at home. They getting 2.5. You said right?
Yeah, they're the home dog getting 2.5.
Yeah.
They're 4-1 and BYU's 5-0.
Yeah.
Man, what time is that game?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Man, we got some football on.
Great day of college football.
Oh man. Boy, you talking about sitting on your behind.
Yeah. You're going to have to get up and walk around a little bit.
Oh, my God. Whew. Oh, okay. A lot of weird things happening in the studio.
Yeah. We were evidently off for, we didn't know this, we were off for over 30 minutes, Dave Clark.
Oh,
We were off 25 to 30 minutes that time frame.
wow.
Wow.
If someone told me that. They sent me a text, said, you guys were off for about 30 minutes.
That's crazy.
That's insane. But anyway, technical difficulties. Please stand by, the old saying on TV. We're old. Anyway, what do you say, Dave Clark, on that Arizona?
Oh no, I take an Arizona.
Did you take Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay, very
at
good.
home.
Okay, let's the final game. I was kind of debating this. I couldn't decide. I do 9 games because I was tossing between, but I went with South Carolina at LSU.
Ooh, that's
Because Arizona State's at Utah. That's the late game, 10-15. But I went with the South Carolina LSU because I went with that because I figure Brian Kelly's got to offend somebody this week. You know, he always says
And
something.
that's a 7 o'clock game.
That's a 7:45 game
7:40. Okay.
on SEC Network, and LSU's laying 9.5 to South Carolina. So
9.5.
South Carolina
9.5.
quarterback got hurt last year. You guys remember? They should have won that game. He got hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
And so I'm going to take South Carolina in the points.
9.5.
9.5.
Yeah, I'll take those points, yes.
Only
I
thing
think LSU will win, but I'll take the 9.5, yes.
they just known to play exceptionally well in the Bayou at night for some reason.
I know. Why is that?
I don't know. In the daytime, they could win, but it's not as impressive. But when it's nighttime, it's like
I don't know.
something come over.
I know something like they do. You're right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been like that for years.
Yeah, and it's just like at those night games down there at LSU. It's like
I don't know, some kind of
Well,
curse.
And the home
Maybe
white
it's a-
uniforms, Dave Clark, the home
you know,
white.
You've got
That's
that
it?
thing. They might think it's like cursed. You know. They
Yeah,
have
seriously.
I might think there's
Yeah.
something going on there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take LSU. That's a lot of points to give up to South Carolina they can score, but it's just something about
Yeah.
at night.
I debate this.
That's a hard one. That's
all
a
right.
good one there.
I'm going to basically go with LSU too. Hold on, Irish Mike. It's end of the third quarter. Overtime is tonight from 11 to 12, but we'll be back after a quick timeout. Saturday morning sports page.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
If I could be you,
And you could be me?
For just 1 hour.
if you could find a way,
To get inside.
Each other's mind.
walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out, and for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Are you ready to join the legacy? This is your chance to become part of something special with the Youngstown Patricians. Honoring the proud football tradition of the Valley, we're on the lookout for talented post-high school athletes who want to make their mark on the field. Whether you're a seasoned high school athlete, college, or former professional player, develop your skills and become part of a team that values hard work, dedication, and community spirit. Don't wait. Begin your path to the gridiron by visiting youngstownpat.com or contacting us on Facebook at the Youngstown Patricians. Be bold, be legendary, join the Youngstown Patricians today.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Ohio high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Saturday Morning Sports Page back at you. Irish Mike joining us. Yeah, that's our picks, Irish Mike. So
Yes.
What game was you going to put on? You said at first.
The other game the other game, because I have 9 on here, and I normally just do 9.
Oh, okay.
But the other game was Arizona State at Utah. Utah's 9.5.
And that's it.
And that's at Utah, and that's tonight at 10:15 on ESPN.
Oh, they always.
I would actually take Utah in that game in the 9.5.
Utah's at home.
But yeah,
Utah's home.
Salt Lake City. Yeah.
Yeah,
Salt Lake City.
They'd be good up there.
A lot of points.
Yeah. Arizona State getting a lot though, right?
Yeah, Arizona State gets the points. They get 9.5.
I'd still take Utah. I think they're one big.
What would you do, Dave?
Oh man, that's a close one.
You lay the points?
Yeah, I'm thinking Utah should do it at home, but man, Arizona State can score.
They can light it up.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I would go Arizona State, I guess, and take all those points. I don't know.
That's a hard one.
I'll put it up. I mean, if you want, I just put it to the top because I run out. 9 is all I can fit on the sheet. And then I could put right at the top above our names. Just
something.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Make it a tiebreaker.
yeah. At this rate. Our picks could only get my picks can only go downhill.
Well, you've been doing good in this, so you good.
I'm better. Yeah, college, I'm getting luckier. The NFL's forget it. I mean, the NFL, forget it. We'll bring Gessler's Wild Dogs into the studio. They can pick the games because I certainly can't pick them.
I'm telling you.
That's fine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, I'm looking for a good college weekend.
Yeah, this is a great college.
I like these games.
Who do you want on the tiebreaker game? Call it the tiebreaker game. Arizona State or Utah 9.5. Utah.
Yeah, he took
I
Utah.
took Arizona and the points.
Yep, I took Utah too.
You take the Utah. Okay,
and I just think Arizona State is. I do think they can. I know they can score, but it's hard playing up there in Salt Lake.
And can they keep it close? That's the problem. That can go ugly quick.
What's their records? You got that?
Yes, Utah is 4-1, and so is Arizona State. But Utah's 1-1 in the conference. Big 12. Arizona's 2-0 in the conference.
And I'm gonna tell you something. Who wants to play Texas Tech? Anybody?
Nobody.
Yeah, thank you.
No, and
that
actually,
team is dangerous.
Arizona lost.
That's who they lost to.
No,
I'm talking about Utah.
Oh yeah, Mississippi. Utah got beat by Mississippi. Not Utah. Arizona State got beat second game of the season by Mississippi State. But they beat Texas State. Let's not count it. But they beat Baylor and TCU close. 27-24. TCU they beat 27-24. Okay. That's Arizona. So Arizona State has kept the game close. Utah lost their game They've got a loss, and you said, they lost to in conference.
Texas Tech, right?
I believe it was Texas.
Yeah, I was watching. I'm almost certain that's the game I was watching, and they were at home.
Yeah,
and Texas Tech.
They lost bad.
Yeah,
they got the wood. They got taken to the woodshed, 34-10.
Oh yeah, they was
But
dominant.
here they beat Utah Utes beat UCLA first game of the season, 43-10. And then they beat West Virginia at West Virginia last week, 48-14. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I might change mine.
Yeah. And that's usually. Oh yeah, that was Rich Rod, wasn't it?
That was Rich Rod. Rich Rod's now the coach. Yeah, he's back.
He's back.
He's back at West Virginia.
Woo! You know, Dave, you mentioned Texas Tech. People don't understand this because I follow recruiting. They are spending a lot of money not only by recruiting. I mean, they have that Texas oil money down there, and people are overlooking it. Last year, when the young man left, it's going to be a big rival next week when USC comes to town. But if you remember a guy named Bowden, he was Jim Bowden was the general manager of the Cincinnati Reds for years.
Yeah.
His son is Chad Bowden, and Chad Bowden is the general manager now at USC. Well, Chad Bowden and Marcus Freeman were very, very tight. You know, at Cincinnati, they worked together at Cincinnati. When Freeman came to Notre Dame, he insisted that Chad Bowden come with them. I mean, that was a big thing. Okay. And then when he got the job, Chad Bowden became his player personnel director, all 9 yards. Well, last January, he left Notre Dame to go to USC to be GM. And he made some comments that got in the paper and the media that I don't think Marcus Freeman was very happy with. So that makes it a strange dynamic coming back next week. But so when he was looking for a GM, a guy named James Blanchard is the GM at Texas Tech.
Right.
And he came up and they had multiple discussions, and my buddies told me it's going to get done. It's going to get done. You know, he's going to be the new GM. Well, they couldn't figure out enough. The problem became when Texas Tech found out, when the old guys found out that they wanted Blanchard, they kept coming back with him and upping the ante. You know, we want you back. We want you back. Well, he tried to go back and forth with Notre Dame and Texas Tech. They went back once, Pat, but they wouldn't go back twice. I mean, to raise their salary. He said, apparently this is not going to work. We're not going to keep doing this yo-yo. Either you're coming or you're not, right? So he stayed at Texas Tech. So, and he does a good job down there with NIL and the recruiting. So they're going to be a force to be reckoned with moving forward, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, believe it or not.
Yeah.
That's going to happen.
Yep, and I'm telling you, I watched them, and I'm telling you, they got talent all over the field.
Correct. And on the defense, too, we're not used
that's
to
what I'm talking
defense.
About. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. On that defense, the quarterback is one of those gunslinger type guys.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he fits right in the mold of Mahomes and all those guys that didn't have Baker Mayfield, all those guys. That's just how he plays, and they got all those athletes around, but their defense is big time. And I said, boy, if they continue to get better and better, I enjoyed watching them. They just dominated Utah.
Sure.
They made it look like they was a team that's 0-4 maybe. I mean, that's how tough they were. They just
two more things for you before I let you guys go, and I appreciate you guys keeping me on. Number one, the NCAA changed the rule this week that now there's only one transfer portal time period. That'll be from January 2nd to January 16th.
Yep.
There will not be a full month like December, like we've had in the past, December and early January. And then another one after the spring football from like April 25th to like May 10th.
Yeah, just one time, right?
It's one time only. And it's 14 days, January 2nd and January 16th. Your thoughts on that?
They're idiots. They're idiots. Why do you do it right in the middle of the playoffs? Yeah. Like, do they not have a calendar? Like, do they understand like what's going on in January?
Yeah.
Why can't you put that?
Series, guys, it's going to affect 4 teams now. It's going to affect 4 teams because they're the only 4 teams still playing. Well, the semifinals are January 8th. So after January 8th, it's only going to affect 2 teams.
But why?
And then, Pat, if you make the finals, if your team makes the championship game, you automatically get 5 additional days after that. So let's suppose it's Ohio State versus Oregon for the title.
Right.
After the championship game, January 19th, every Ohio State and Oregon player gets 5 additional days to enter the portal.
Why can't they make it February after? Why can't they wait? Like, why can't you wait till after?
Well, that's what I thought.
Well, I thought what they would do is wait till mid-February when the playoffs are all done, and then you could say, okay, now that it's all done and over, now teams can, you want to transfer, the portal's open, and people can jump in the portal in February.
Well, me and my brother was talking. We said, what would be an ideal time to have it? The week of the as we call media week of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know how you got 2 weeks?
Yeah,
that
there you
middle
go.
week,
right there.
Right then, you want to keep
Right.
college football
There you
up
go.
there.
Perfect.
In football, you're talking about football. Everybody's talking about
Right,
football
don't
then
talk
because
about
Super Bowl.
Right.
So now you got the college players. Why couldn't you have it right then?
Why don't you do it then?
That's
That dead week in the
That dead-
Super Bowl week,
Perfect.
where people
Talking
are
about-
annoyed with the media, and that's play. Now you could at least interject that, and
Yep.
people could say, "All right,
Yep.
hardcore, college football fans can say, hey, these guys are getting transferring.
Yep.
Wait till then.
Yeah. It'll be a nice thing. And then you go into spring
Right.
practice,
Then
you're
you
all
go,
set and ready.
right.
Why you do that during the playoffs?
Why would you do it in that? I don't understand.
Well, another rule, and see, it hasn't got passed yet, but I've been told it's probably going to affect in January, so it's going to get passed here in the next month or so, is they're going to have 5 for 5 now. That any kid coming out of high school has 5 years of eligibility, no
Yeah,
red
I've heard
shirting
that.
anymore. You have 5 full years.
Yeah, I've heard. And that's it.
So you could play all 5 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I
you
think
can play 65. You can play 67 college football games.
right. But you can't. But then you're not having the 27 and 28-year-old kids playing because you have that weird thing that you've got these guys that with the injury year, COVID year, this year, that year, sue, blah blah blah, and they're 27 years old and they're playing college football. 5
Now,
years and that's
Pat,
it.
The only way you get a red shirt now is by injury. You have to prove an injury
Right.
before 4 games to get a 6 year and
Do-
5 and 5 rule.
Do away with
that.
So then, would they just do away with all of that and everybody gets 5 years?
No,
right?
I think, you said the injury, they can still get that, but it's got to be a proven injury, right?
Proven, yes.
Yeah,
Why don't you
I
just-
like that.
Oh,
Because if they got
all right.
sometimes
Yeah,
some of that stuff
okay.
used to be bogus.
Yeah, I
Guys
know.
to have a high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
And just
then-
leave them
yeah.
out the whole
And
season,
then
get
it's
another
gonna-
year.
Yeah, because they're playing with the roster.
But if you got a guy with a knee injury,
Yeah.
ACL,
Okay.
blown out, broken
All right.
leg,
Yeah.
you should.
Okay.
But it's
yeah,
got to
I
be
get it.
before,
Yeah.
by the 4th game of the season, right? Once he plays past 4, break
Yeah.
the leg or
I
not, that season counts, correct?
Now, Pat, can you do me a favor? This is
I
what
don't
this
know.
is going to end in. Like going the 5 to 5 rule, 5 years of eligibility for every player, no red shirting. Okay. Can you read what the text message I just sent you 20 seconds ago on the air about Ohio State? I just sent you a text. I want you to read that so that you guys understand why they're part of the reason why they're doing this.
Oh,
way.
yeah. Because it said here, this is the Buckeyes, both edge C.J. Hicks and safety Malik Hartford are using their red shirt this season per Josh Aloha, meaning they are expected to enter the transfer portal when it opens. So what
The
these...
NCAA rule says if you play more than 4 games, you're allowed 4 games and get a red shirt. If you play that 5th game, a 1 down to 5th game, that is, you can no longer red shirt. So these guys, right, Ohio State's in their 6th game now, right? They played their 4 games and they're not playing much, so they figured, let me save a red shirt season. I'll enter the portal now in January and go to another school. So they won't even probably practice without. They're probably just students now at Ohio State, walking around campus like everybody else, and saying,
So they'll-
when January comes around, I'm entering the portal.
And when they go, they'll still have 5 seasons.
They'll have,
What's-
well, Hicks will have 2 left, and the other kid will have 3.
3, I
They're
got
on
you.
the
Yeah, because
roster.
they've been there.
Now-
Yeah.
They've been there.
Yeah. My understanding is this 5 for 5, Dave, will affect the class. The current freshmen this year,
Okay.
it'll be retroactive. They're the only group, the 2025 class, current freshmen playing college football will have 5 years of eligibility. It'll be retroactive to 25, 26, 27, 28 moving forward.
But
So,
the one
if
thing
you're
you'll
in the
see a
class of
difference
22
though, Pat.
If you're a kid on campus now, like Notre Dame has a wide receiver named Jaden Greathouse. He
Yep.
scored a couple touchdowns in the Penn State game last year. Scored 2 touchdowns against Ohio State in the national title game as a wide receiver. Okay? Played 4 games. He's not catching as many balls this year. Carr's throwing it all over the place, but he's found other targets, and he's had a hamstring injury the last few weeks.
Right.
He hasn't played. He's not going to play again today, and people
he's gonna do
are
that.
wondering, is he entering the portal? You know what I mean? Like, because they get nervous about when the 5th game rolls around and guys all of a sudden are not available to play.
That's a lot of
Are they
stuff to
weighing all
manage.
their options? People worry about that around college football.
Yeah. Well, I like the 5 for 5, and the injury, I'm okay with that, but because now they're going to have to be legitimate. And I know when I looked at stuff before, they would have guys that were out because of a high ankle sprain. Then it'd be listed as something else later, Achilles, this, that. And then they get this extra year. No, we cut all that out, and I think that's the way you do it. Now, if a guy starts playing college football later in life at 20 or 21, now he may be older while he's in college. That's okay, but guys being their 8-year, 9-year veterans in college football is just too ridiculous. It's not a lot of them, but it's still too many.
Football too, David, there's been a pattern of major college coaches. Take Pat Lucci as a player. They like him as a player, but they want him in redshirt. Well, he can only play in 4 games, so they strategically pick 4 games. And it might not be like the 4 games you expect. It might be the second game of the year, might be the 4th game of the year, might be the 8th game of the year, and then the 11th game.
Right.
So you're going to play in these 4 games. Plus, you're allowed. If we get the playoffs, you're allowed to play in the playoffs without any penalties. So they have strategically set this out for certain players. Yes, you are going to redshirt. We're going to redshirt 10 guys this year, but you're all going to play 4 games, but you're not all going to play in the same game. Because certain games we need a pass rusher. Lucci is a great defensive end. He can rush the pass. That's all he can do. So we're going to use him in the 4 games that have good passing teams.
Yeah. And that you take all that out of that.
They're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
You see, they're playing the system there. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Do you like that rule?
My buddy texts me. He hates her. He's a big Ohio State fan. He goes, he thinks it's going to put more on the students at school to pay more tuition because guys are going to be there longer. It's going to cost the school more money. NIL, et cetera, et cetera. Now the normal student's going to pay more and more money for tickets and everything because they have to pay the kids more and more because they're there an extra year. His big concern is you're going to have 23 and 24-year-old players playing against 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
And I go, well, that's already happening.
But that's happening now.
We got 27-year-olds playing against.
And that's what I think. It's the 5 years. See, I would say 5 years. That's it. I don't care about injury. You get 5 years. But Dave Clark brings up a good point. If you got a kid with a blown out, massive injury, okay,
and you got to be able to prove it. You got to
prove it.
Medical doctors,
surgery,
everything.
And you got to prove it. Then I can see it.
I need pictures. I need it all.
I need it all. I could buy that. But anything else, no. That's it. 5 years,
rule,
and that's it.
The 5-for-5 rule, Pat, actually benefits a school like Notre Dame to be legal because they don't do much undergrad transfers, freshman, sophomore, but they do a lot of graduate transfers. That's where Notre Dame's lived in the transfer portal for 5 years. Guys that are 22 and 23.
Right.
This wide receiver they got, out of Virginia, he's their top wide receiver this year. Okay, and big kid, 6'4", 230, can run. And I mean, he's probably a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick. Now, had he gone on the draft last year, he'd been a 4th or 5th rounder. Notre Dame got him as a grad transfer from Virginia, and now he's a 5th-year senior, and he's going to move up probably to the 2nd round. He's catching a lot of balls, and that's what they focus on. They focus on guys that have been in college football.
Yep.
That
and that's their big bugaboo. We want guys that have been around the block. So, if anything, this benefits schools like Notre Dame more than anything.
The 5-for-5 rule. I think all of it is benefiting college football, period, because to me, it just seems like it's so more exciting because you got so many more teams that are
it makes
replicable can really play.
And they need that.
Yeah.
That's the thing that lacks still college football.
You used to have to search for a game to try to find it. Let me see what's on. It's a good game somewhere. Right. But now you almost can find one every week. It's really not a super bad.
Yeah, and that's the best part, I think, with college football is
it's
they got a good TV contract, and you've got good teams out there that, like, look at Texas Tech. They're 4-0. They've blown everybody out this year. Look at this team is maybe they're 17th in the country.
And look at the Texas-Florida game. People would have looked at that in the past and looked at the records and said, "Oh, I'm not watching that. No. Florida's terrible."
Yeah,
See, you never know. You never know what they're going to do.
Well, Florida's had tough losses.
That's right.
And they've played a tougher schedule.
Yep.
That's what I hate to keep saying, but that's what I still get mad with Penn State. They play nobody, and now when they play good teams, they lose.
Yeah, but
so really, how good? Again, the
only thing I
get
don't
back
like
to that. You get how good are they?
But that instills confidence. That's what I won't. I don't like the easy schedule, but if you're beating up on teams, it instills confidence that you can play. But are you playing up to your ability?
You go. That's the $100 million
because you don't
question.
have to do as much,
right? Are you playing? And that's
you're not
what
making
happened.
Adjustments or anything because it's easy.
Penn State rolled out to the West Coast thinking we're playing Villanova. UCLA's probably not any better than Villanova, who we destroyed. So they rolled out to the West Coast, probably looked at, had a good time, enjoyed the weather, the beach, whatever, and they rolled out there and then go, this team's not any better than Villanova.
Well, see, I still think it's something going on, though, because, I looked at Dole as the defensive coordinator. He's at Ohio State. They were playing Akron, YSU, and all that. And you look at that and say, man, they're not playing anybody. But then when they play in a big game, they're ready to play.
Right. What the hell?
So
happened?
Why is it not happening at Penn State?
What happened?
Something has happened. What's the constant at Penn State? It's not no. He just got there.
He just got there. What
But
happened?
James Franklin, I hate to be on him so hard, but I am.
Well,
He's the constant. What are you doing as the head man to allow your team to look like that?
$40 million.
I mean, I just don't understand it.
Let me ask you. Oh, you love college football too. You take Notre Dame; they have 2 running backs, Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, and I could argue, Pat, that they're 2 of the top 10 running backs in the country. They're really deep at running back. I mean, they got guys that can play. Now, Price came to Notre Dame in 2022, and they played their first game against Ohio State and Columbus that year. He tore his Achilles 3 weeks before the game, so he missed the entire 2022 season.
It's gone.
So Price actually, we know Love's going to leave after this year. He's a junior, but he's a first-round draft pick, so he's going to the NFL. I mean, we knew that a year and a half ago. The guy's just full of talent. He kind of reminds you of Reggie Bush.
Right.
But him and Price, Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love have been sharing carries this year. So Notre Dame fans are throwing around, and I've asked a couple insiders, and they said, I think they want to go down this road. Price has another year of eligibility next year as a fifth-year senior in 2026 if he wants to take it, instead of being like a third-round draft pick, and give him $2 million to come back. Is that good for college football potentially when guys play another year of college football that are talented?
Yeah,
What's your thoughts on something like that? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean,
as long as he's got the eligibility, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have any problem with it.
Why not make $2 million more?
Well, Quint Ewers, everybody's saying he should have stayed at college, gone. He would have been made more money.
Yeah,
he went to Miami. Now he's on the team that's probably allegedly going to fire their coach, and that's a disarray. That team's a mess.
Yeah,
maybe he should have stayed, gone to another team, and played and had more NIL money and been that much better and more college games under his belt, and then gone to the NFL.
Yeah.
I think he made a bad move.
They did last year. Guys stayed an extra year, right?
Yeah.
4 or 5 guys stayed an extra year than you would. And normally, without NIL, they would have never stayed, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so you're running into that, which is good for college because now I think it adds, and I like the fact that these colleges teams you have more parity in the NFL. I mean, in college now.
Yeah.
And that's why these conferences are all kind of screwed up because teams are better.
Yeah.
That in some of these conferences, maybe it'll give better parity in the Big Ten. I don't want Ohio State to lose today in Illinois. I mean, I want them to cover, but I don't want them to lose. But the bottom line is, if Indiana goes out and beats Oregon, that's probably a good thing for the Big Ten.
Yeah,
absolutely, it is. 100%, it is.
I've always said that you need the Illinois, the Indianas, the Iowas. Those teams they need to be better because it makes the Big Ten better.
Yeah.
And if UCLA wakes up and starts to play good, now they made, Penn State made their quarterback. I can't pronounce his name, that UCLA quarterback.
Oh, yeah, from Tennessee.
Remember,
the Tennessee guy. He left Tennessee. He went out there for NIL.
Trying to renegotiate his NIL.
Right.
Remember, he tried to renegotiate.
Yeah, and he did a George Costanza and went down. He lost money like George did on Seinfeld.
Yeah, stayed at Tennessee.
Right. So bottom line, he should have. But Penn State, now he's probably back in the Heisman discussion because he had a Heisman performance.
Oh, he played great. He looked like the Tennessee quarterback.
Yeah, he played great.
Yeah.
He played unbelievable.
And maybe they can keep it going.
If he's figured it out, and Neuheisel's hugging him like he's his best friend, that was the best part. I thought was funny after the game. Neuheisel, the offensive coordinator, goes to the only difference is Dable hasn't hugged Jason Darter. Maybe he already has.
He hasn't, but he got all the handshakes.
But he's got the handshakes and everything.
Got that going.
But Neuheisel's son now is the coordinator of the year after being on the job for 5 days.
Yep.
Well, hey, guys, I got to get running here, so you have a great Saturday. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, Irish Mike. Good deal.
You too, man.
Enjoy your weekend in the football.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neuheisel's son now is the coordinator of the year, or maybe the week anyway.
Yeah.
Well, if UCLA...
If they can keep winning.
Skipper is the
interim coach.
Interim head guy.
Yeah.
And, maybe he can resurrect the team, and maybe there's energy there, and maybe UCLA can get off the mat, win some football games.
It would be nice to see UCLA, USC, all those teams back to that.
Where they were.
Oh, yeah, because Because
we remember history when they were really good.
Oh, yeah, they were good. See that powder
I remember
blue?
back.
Yeah, I mean,
When those
USC
teams-
UCLA game used to be you couldn't wait.
Nope.
Same weekend as Ohio State and Michigan. And those two games, man, I used to just be waiting on it. And it was so different because it was smash mouth dust, as we say, cloud of dust of running the ball with Michigan, Ohio State. And then later in the afternoon, towards the evening, you got USC and UCLA. They're throwing the ball all over the place.
They were more NFL.
They were more NFL
They were
style.
more NFL.
Yeah, because they ran the ball too. They had great backs.
That's the timeout. We will be back for hour number 3, we hope. Saturday morning sports page. We got another hour left in the books. Dave Clark, I'm Pat Lucia, back for overtime. We'll get the NFL.
Youngstown, Warren, and Salem Sports Talk is on the iMedia1 Network, Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
Are you tired of switching apps just to catch your favorite shows and live events? Say hello to the iMedia1 Network app, your one-stop destination for streaming and everything that matters. From national sports to exclusive local content, Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast are now all in one place, anytime, anywhere. Download the free iMedia1 Network app on iOS and Android and unlock the future of sports audio in the palm of your hand. The iMedia1 Network, your sports app in the Valley. Lena's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard or call 234-254-8532.
Saturday morning sports page. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. This is overtime.
Yep.
Get to the NFL. And the only thing is we don't have is but we don't have it. We're going to work on getting it next year. We're going to need to get those wild dogs in the studio when we do our picks, Dave Clark. Boy, we are struggling mightily.
I'm going to play like none of that other weeks happened. This is going to be the start
of a new week.
Yep, of great things happen.
Man.
In NFL picks, even though they're very hard to do. But
well, you were 5-9. I was 4-10. Bob was 3-10 because he didn't do the Thursday. Bob Gessler was 3-10.
Man.
So anyway, that's kind of,
you know how hard it is to pick them.
We missed the Bills, and we missed the Bolts. lost. They lost to Washington. We missed the Chiefs. They got beat by Jacksonville.
Yep.
We got the Lions right. We got the Bucks right. Tampa Bay. But then we look at the rest of these teams, man. It was just that early morning window. You got the Niners. I missed the Rams that Thursday. Then we got the Vikings right on the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Raiders wrong. They lost 40-6. Like you were talking earlier, they just fell apart.
I mean,
I got the Colts. We got the Giants wrong. All of us got that wrong. You got the Cowboys right. I'll never pick the Jets again. The Jets stink. Therein lies the problem. We're going to get to these games, and then we lost the Eagles. They got beat by the Broncos. We lost Miami. They got beat by the Panthers. We picked the Ravens. They got absolutely boat raced by the Texans at home, 44-10. They didn't show up. Again, then the Titans, the Cardinals.
Had that game. I don't know what happened.
They lost. The Titans came back and won a game that, to this day, we still don't know. Well, the Cardinals had the celebrating the touchdown and losing the ball. Who was that player?
Yeah, that's Ed DeMarcado.
Celebrating the touchdown.
Yeah, he just had the ball low, and he's running, and he just dropped it like he thought he was past the goal line. He wasn't.
And it looks close.
Yeah, it was real close.
Real close.
Almost looked like he really did score.
I thought he broke the plane, but they said, no, he did not. And then everybody goes off on him, and the coach had to apologize to him because he hit him in he hit him in the shoulder pads there, in the chest. Not supposed to do that. And talking about football, go down this rabbit hole, but I remember too well Woody Hayes, but he wasn't. Woody wasn't the only one. They were talking. Brady Quinn and LeVar Arrington were talking about it on the show, their morning show with Jonas Knox, Two Pros and a Cup of Joe, about they were laughing because LeVar Arrington goes, "Oh, I had my helmet." He goes, "Paterno grabbed my face mask a lot." He goes, and Brady Quinn laughed.
Right.
And then the other thing too is that and then who? Oh yeah, then I think it was somebody. I think it was. He said, "Yeah, I got my head slapped like the helmet slapped."
Oh yeah.
That was pretty standard. And Woody was always notorious for grabbing.
Oh, yeah.
They all did. I mean, But the point is, obviously, you can't do it now. But back, people are laughing because the coach apologized and got fined $100,000 for doing that. And LeVar's going, "You got to be kidding me!" Because I think back when I played, he goes, "Paterno grabbed my face mask or grabbed and he
I
hit
remember getting slapped up against.
the helmet. They always,
I know one coach that didn't get. He wasn't there long enough. This is how brutal it was. When in the USFL.
Oh yeah,
Arizona Wranglers.
Yes.
Frank Kush was the head coach
Kush
at that time.
Was brutal.
And they actually got rid of Frank Kush.
Yeah.
Right, like 2 games into the season, because he was still acting like he was at Arizona State, ripping guys' face masks, slapping their heads
all the time.
And they said, "We can't do that no more in this pro game. This is the pro game."
Yeah, you can't.
And they didn't want that happening.
No.
And they had to get rid of him. They actually got rid of Frank Kush. He's an icon out there.
Arizona, he's a god.
And
he was,
but that guy was.
Well, you ever see
so intense?
I remember the film clip with him and the punter when he was in that punter's face and he was hitting and he was just berating this guy and hitting him hitting him in the helmet, banging on him and just in his face. And they had a showing that. People were like. And then there are other people like, "Yeah, okay, so what? What's the big deal?" And then the other people were very taken back by it. But, bottom line is this day and age, you can't do any of that. You can't touch the players. You can't do that, berate them really. You got to even watch how much you berate them and how you do that. And you can't definitely, hit them and strike them on any way, shape, or form. This is this day and age. It's not 20, 30 years ago or 10 years ago even. It's this day and age, you can't do that.
Right.
And so bottom line is getting back to the Cardinals, they lost the game 22-21. The thing that probably upset the coach more than anything, though, is the Colts lost the week before to the Rams under the same thing where their player did the same thing.
Yeah.
The Colt player.
Mitchell did the same
Mitchell did the same thing. And he said the coach, it came out, someone said, yeah, the coach showed that clip to all the players that, and that's what really drove the Cardinal coach crazy because he had showed that.
He had already showed it before that.
Right, before that, he said, this is what we're not going to do. And allegedly, people said, Brady Quinn, I think Brady Quinn says, you could guarantee all the coaches showed that to all the players across the league, telling you you're not going to celebrate, before, and get in the end zone. Don't start celebrating with the ball. Get in the end zone with two hands. Make sure you have the ball, get in the end zone. Then after you're in the end zone, you do what you want, but get in the end zone with the ball. Don't do the celebration and then lose the ball before you get in the end zone. That cost the Colts that game. They would be undefeated. And this game cost the Cardinals the game. And now everybody's questioning whether or not Kyler Murray's the answer, or are they going to move on from Kyler Murray? Somehow he gets dragged into it. And now you've got everybody questioning what's going on with the Cardinals. They just lose. They have just lost brutal game after brutal game. They're 2-3.
Right.
And
in 2 games they shouldn't have lost.
And they make the argument there's 2 games they should not have lost. And what we've always talked about on this show with the NFL, and there is not a big difference between these teams.
No.
And then this is one thing that I thought was interesting that brought up, didn't bring this up with Irish Mike. We're talking about Belichick, but this is what Brady Quinn said. I'm going to paraphrase. What he was basically making the analogy is he said that when you're in the NFL, like when Belichick was coaching the Patriots, he was always kind of doing things kind of on the cheap a little bit, meaning like he would get second round picks, like he would get the draft picks, and they would pick out of the first round and a lot of second, third round guys. And he said you could do that in the NFL. Like you could, there's not a big discrepancy in talent. Like the NFL, like when you take the first team, the second, third round, or first team, second team players, there's a very fine line there. So you can sometimes, if you coach it right, you can get guys like that aren't like maybe name guys, but if you put them in the right system, you can get a lot out of the performance, and they're probably just as good as the guys starting on the field.
Yeah, that's possible.
But he said in college, the discrepancy is larger. So you can't get away with that in college where, you get your prime talent, but sometimes your backups aren't as good as your...
I mean, it might be a major drop-off.
And there could be a major drop-off.
And even though they're the second team.
So he's just saying the drop-off in the NFL versus college is minuscule. Like it's big difference between NFL and college because your drop-off in the NFL isn't that big compared to college.
Right.
In essence, the talent drop-off. And if you have the right coaches and the right system, you can almost get by with maximizing the second-string talent versus college. The difference is too much, and you can't get away with that in college.
Right.
And Brady Quinn was just saying, in a way, he said that's kind of like what Belichick's trying to do in college. He can't do that because that's how he did it in the NFL.
Yeah.
You can't do that in college.
No.
And you can't kind of get, like, if you think, well, I'm going to get a guy, maybe I'm not going to pay him any NIL money, and I can get more, he could perform as good as the other guys. You can't do that. He can't.
Right.
Versus in NFL, you can get away with it. And we've talked about that a lot, is saying in the NFL, not only is the discrepancy in the talents, like in some cases minuscule, but these games, one bad play, one bad call, you lose instead of you win.
Yeah.
Like the way some of these games are played when, 22-21, the Titans beat the Cardinals. I mean...
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened.
And it should have happened if the guy, if he doesn't celebrate and goes in, they go up, I think, 28-6. That game was over.
Yeah.
But that cost them to the point where it got the Titans back in the game, and the Titans came on and beat the Cardinals because, again, the celebration, you can kind of point to that. That did cost us the game.
Yeah.
I know people say, well, you shouldn't get down to one, shouldn't come down to that. Yeah, but it does.
Yeah, and that's big. It's not a field goal. That was a touchdown.
No, it was a touchdown.
And those are hard to come by in the NFL. So
right.
you get them, you want to get them.
And you're in the NFL, you don't have a lot of room for error.
No.
College, maybe, but not in the NFL. We watch this day, time in and time out. We're living proof. We can't get any of these damn games right. Because, again, things just aren't mapping out like the Eagles and the Broncos last week. The Eagles were up 17, 3?
Yeah.
And they're cruising along. The Eagles are leaving 17-3, and all of a sudden they went to fall asleep.
They had 15 plays. And what I mean by that, they went 3 and out. 5 drives in a row. In a row. Can't do that.
No.
In the NFL.
And
the teams are too close, and you have a team that can come back and score in there, and that's exactly what Denver did.
And Denver took advantage of it.
Yeah.
Because the Eagles went into a funk.
Yep.
Can't do anything.
Yep.
3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Yep.
Leaving the door open.
I actually thought they was getting ready to blow Denver out the way they came out.
Yeah,
like on fire.
They
was
came
like
out.
madhouse. I mean,
what happens? We see it time and time again when you go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. What does that do? That puts your defense back on the field. Ultimately, they get tired. They wear out. And sure enough, it's like the fighter getting in the later rounds. If he starts to tire, the guy that's been kind of, playing possum all of a sudden can turn it around.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's going, he's winning the fight because the guy's worn out. And
that's why.
I mean, it's the same thing with the defense with Philly. The defense is kind of iffy with injuries, but then you keep putting them back on the field. You're going to let the team back, and that's what they did. They couldn't score, and they let Denver back in the game because in a way, the Eagles' defense just wore out.
And you can't. I'm gonna give it to a game. I watched my Hurricanes play the Florida State, and I like what Cristobal said after. He said, "Next time, I won't go conservative until it gets really close to the end." He went conservative, and all of a sudden, the Hurricanes, who are just having their way, wasn't able to score. And what happened? Florida State started scoring and getting close to them.
And they got close.
They got close.
They were so lucky.
Yeah, because he said, I got too conservative. And I like when teams, some people say, oh, he shouldn't run the score up. No, I think you can't play around. You just keep running that offense. You keep scoring. I don't care what people call it. Just keep scoring till you get to a point where you know that I should be pretty safe. You can't do that in the NFL. You can't be 20 up and think that's okay. You got maybe a quarter and a half to go. They'll come back in no time.
I don't care. That running up the score thing.
Yeah, I would. I'm telling you, I'd be directing it.
If I was
me,
a coach,
I'd run it up. I don't care.
I leave. The only thing I do is injury. If I got the star and we're up by 4, I got my star player. I might get him out. But I'm telling the other guy it's going in his place.
Playing the same offense.
I'm running it, and I want you, because now this is your chance to maybe move up to first. I want you to play like tomorrow. I'm not discouraging the kids to let up. I might take my starters out to rest them because I don't want to risk an injury, but I want the second or maybe the third string kids to go in there like they're playing for the starting spot.
Yeah.
And I want them to compete as hard as hell, and if they're scoring touchdowns, more power to them.
Yep.
I'm not taking the foot off the pedal as far as the game. And now I might put different players in, but I want those players to go in and play hard and score touchdowns. And if they're scoring and the score's 75-0, too bad. Because I'm telling my kids to play like it's no tomorrow. I'm not telling the kids to let up. This is your chance to shine, second string quarterback or second
especially
string.
In college football.
Yeah.
Especially there. That's why I think you just don't do it in pros. You might get away with it, but you're not going to get away with it in the college. You start getting conservative, next thing you know, a team is back in the game.
We've seen that
no time
and time again where teams can get right back into it, and no lead is safe. And if I'm a college coach or an NFL coach, I'm not taking my foot off the pedal, and I'm telling the backups, if you get in because of either, we are up, and I don't want to risk an injury to the star quarterback or star running back, but this is your opportunity now to prove to me maybe that I made a mistake and you could be the starter.
Yeah.
prove me wrong, go in there and play so darn bad. I got to think, well, wait a minute, maybe this guy should be the starter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I would say. But again, we've seen it time and time again. It's just like I said, talking about the Titans and the Cardinals, who figured that out. The Texans at the Ravens. I mean, like you were saying, the defense for the Ravens is a mash unit.
Yes.
They're in bad straits. Now, do they snap back this week against the Rams?
Right.
This is where we're going to start. Why don't we go ahead and get started on our picks and see if maybe we can do better. We already got one wrong because we went with the Eagles and laid the points.
Already 0-1.
I've never seen the Giants play that good against the Eagles that I could remotely remember, but it may be more of the Eagles having issues than the Giants. My concern with the Giants is Dart and the way they're using him, and I know Dable's treating him like a Josh Allen type, that running like Allen did and all, and that's great. But the Giants are in a situation now, though. They're going to be dealing with, if they end up with 4-13, but Dart looks halfway decent, what do? Do you roll? Do you keep Dable for another year and keep Shane?
If they keep playing competitive and doing this, they might save their job. They might, because they are the regime that went up and made this trade, right?
No, this
to get Jackson Dart.
This is their baby. I mean,
they did it.
This is their team. I mean, they've been there for 4 years.
Yep, I think you have to give them the opportunity now, especially if you see some light at the end of the tunnel. You almost got to give them now. If they came out and they were still looking terrible, but the way they're playing, they got to look at those are 2 major draft picks in Scatterboo and Dart that changed a lot of stuff. And then not just them, they made some of the changes on their defense. They the one that took Abdul Carter to add with Burns and Thibodeau. You get all these guys, and their defensive line looks good. It's stuff that they did that you got to give them, those 2 guys, credit. As much as we have ripped them, you got to give them credit what they done, and they have shown improvement. And they're playing with. They're not a team that you could say, well, let me just mark the W here. It's a team that you're going to have to beat them. So, I mean, do you start all over again, or do you give these guys opportunity? I think you got to give them opportunity. And
well,
you come in the next season.
They're in the 4th year of opportunity.
Yeah.
Dable is rolling into the 4th year at 21-37-1. That's his record.
Yeah.
Sadly, though, if you do look at his year-to-year record, he's gotten progressively worse, not better. Yep. That's the reality. He did great things his first year, 9-7-1.
Didn't he get Coach of the Year or something?
I think he did.
One of them. I think it's in that.
He might have got Coach of the Year his first year. They made the playoffs. They beat the Vikings and lost to the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
The next year, 2023, he was 6-11. Following year, he was 3-14.
Right.
So he's going downward.
And the bad thing about this year is that brutal schedule.
And they got an absolutely brutal schedule this year.
But I can say this, though. If they went 6-11 with the schedule they got with a rookie quarterback, they got how many wins right now? 2. Let's say they get 4 to 5 more. I got to almost call that a successful season. He's on his way back. His arrow's going up because that schedule is brutal. And you're playing with rookies on the major part of your team, the quarterback position.
Right. Well,
so let's see what happens.
Since we've brought the schedule up and we're on it, they beat Philly. Next week they've got Denver at Denver. That's not good. That's probably a loss.
That's not good.
Okay. The following week they have at Philadelphia.
That's not good. They're upset.
You would think Philadelphia's upset and will snap back. Okay. Following week they've got San Francisco at home. Now the only thing they got going in there is San Francisco's got to travel east. Can they get San Francisco asleep because of the time change? I don't know. And Mac Jones is questionable for this week. Brock Purdy's out. We'll get to that.
Yeah, they said he's going to play though.
Mac is going to play.
And Mac Jones.
It's Mac Jones. Well,
I mean, I know Purdy is wondering, hey, this guy, what's going on? But he was a guy that Shanahan always wanted. He
wanted him instead of Trey Lance.
Yep.
We talked about that.
Yep.
And Shanahan now got the guy he wanted, and Mac Jones is flourishing under Shanahan. He struggled with Belichick, and Matt Patricia was an offensive coordinator, and it drove, I think, Mac Jones crazy because Mac Jones is a smart kid, and he kind of figured that Patricia didn't know what he was doing as an offensive coordinator. He's right, and I think and this leads credence to what Belichick, again, Belichick wants to get back into he's going to have to does he want to stay in coaching? And he's probably not getting an NFL job. People are going to look at that and say, if Mac Jones starts to really play great, that speaks ill of Belichick, because that's like Belichick, you almost ruined this kid.
Yep.
Now he's under the right system, and look, he's flourishing.
Yep.
Where he struggled under Belichick, and you kicked him to the curb. He became a journeyman, and now that he's got his second life under Shanahan, he's playing great. Okay, getting back to the Giants, we've got San Francisco at Chicago the following week. That's probably a loss. They're not beaten.
Because that's not an easy game.
No, that's at Chicago on
they're not bad.
November 9th. They're good. They're a good team. They're not great, but they're good.
Yeah, and they get some of the injured players back too.
And so they're going to have Caleb Williams to deal with, who's playing good. Mm-hmm. So you got the Bears at the Bears. Then you have the Green Bay at home the following week. Then you go at Detroit. And then you go to at New England, and we saw New England now Sunday night, and Drake
May,
see
they better.
You know they're 100% better, way better.
Yes, way better.
I mean, they're playing. I mean, New England now, you have to almost say they're a playoff team.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're playing hard defense. You know, Rabel's a great coach. He has that defense playing tough, hard hit. Those guys are playing hard defense. I think he's a great coach. And now he's got Drake May playing really good. He's got confidence.
Yeah.
And they win ugly. He beat Buffalo because bottom line, he played ugly. First half, it was 6-3, and that's exactly what they wanted. Vrabel played a real tough, hard-nosed grind game, and then they beat the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night. 23-20. They came back and again. And that's, again, I think New England now is a playoff team potentially. They're second. They're by far second in that division.
Yeah.
Miami and the Jets stink, and we'll get to that. But then they're getting back to the Giants. They have New England at New England. That's a loss. Washington at home. I don't give them a chance there. Then they have Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
And then they have at Las Vegas, the next game of the year. They have at Las Vegas. That might be a game they might be favored in. And they have Dallas at home. I mean, they're not going to be favored in any of these games. Maybe the Vegas game, maybe.
Yeah.
But all these other games, they're underdogs.
Yeah.
And they've won 2 games. I mean, they might win another game. Reality is, I look at this schedule.
They're 2-3. No, they're 2-4.
2-4. But I look at this schedule. I see maybe one win. Maybe they get San Francisco coming east and they get another win.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I just look at the Giants' schedule, and I know everybody's all happy and with Dart, but
that's why I said they get to 7 wins. You got to say that's successful.
Yeah.
7-10. And that schedule,
they would have to win 5 of these games left.
Right.
I just rattled off these. So
that's why I said you got to keep it in.
I would basically say if they get to that, if they get to 7 wins, they have to win 5 of these games. Name me the games.
I can't name them.
I can't name them.
That's what I'm saying. If they did it, you think they should fire him? No, I think you keep him. In that schedule?
Right. With that schedule, if he can get 5 more wins out of this schedule and go 7-10, I agree with you. I'm a critic of Dable. I don't know if he's really a head coach. I think he's a great coordinator. I still think he's in over his head here. But saying all that, if he could get 5 more wins and 7-10, and Dart looks like the guy, and he's not hurt and injured, maybe you keep him. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of our picks, it's coming up on the break here, but we're looking at going into the break. The 9:30 game is the Broncos at the Jets. Now, they're playing in London.
Right.
It's a Jet home game, and the Jets are getting 6.5. And the Jets, man, they got absolutely destroyed last week, Dallas, and that's not that close a game. I didn't watch much of it. I just heard people call in and talk about it. They lost 37-22. That game was ugly quick. They were never in that game against Dallas. People are talking, is Aaron Glenn, are they going to fire him? They're talking already in New York. He's one and done. He's not the coach. He's in over his head. The team stinks. The defense stinks. He's the defensive guy. Why is the defense playing so bad? It's brutal.
Yeah.
New York is a brutal place to play, and the expectation was the Jets would be better than they were, and they're not. They're worse.
Yeah, I know.
And they are playing bad.
That's a dangerous, though, 0-5 team, and they're not at home in New
York. No,
0-5. They might play better in London, but I don't care. They're giving up, 8, 7?
6.5.
6.5. I'll go ahead and I'm going to take Denver.
Me too. I'm almost to the point
I
where.
almost think the Jets going to win just because I said them. They're probably happy.
I'm almost thinking to do opposite. I'm going to do the George Costanza of the opposite. If I think it's this, I'm going to do. If I think it's the Broncos, I'm putting down the Jets.
Right.
Cardinals are at the Colts, and the Cardinals are getting 6.5. I got to go with the Colts. And I'll lay the 6.5 to the Cardinals. I might be wrong. Cardinals could snap back and beat the Colts in Indianapolis. That can happen.
It's only 6.5?
It's only 6.5.
Nah, I'm going the Colts.
I got to go with the Colts, too.
Yeah.
They're playing
good.
And they're home.
Yeah.
In the Dome.
I don't know what to say. Arizona come out there and might blow them out. That might happen.
Could happen. Saturday morning sports page, half hour left. We'll get to the end of the picks. NFL picks, Western Reserve Radio.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the right seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for years he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
The Village Tavern's been a beloved local landmark in Hubbard, Ohio for nearly a century, and now it's better than ever. Recently renovated and still serving up the same warm hospitality, the Village Tavern is your go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and a laid-back atmosphere. Whether you're stopping in for dinner, catching up with friends, or just looking to relax, you'll enjoy a full menu of American favorites, rotating drink specials, and friendly service that makes every visit memorable. Be sure to visit the Village Tavern at 746 North Main Street in Hubbard, right next to Repair That Glass. To learn more, go to villagetavern3.com.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Ohio, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Saturday morning sports page, Pat Lucia coming back at you. Anyway, we're just talking. I won't go off too much on there's a book. It's an old book. Jim Bouton, Pat, rest in peace, Jim Bouton. Played for the Yankees, wrote the book Ball 4, came out 1970. It's a great read. It was first of its kind, controversial. Bouton wrote a lot of controversial stuff, but in it, they're talking about one GM, I'll just leave it. The player would agree with the GM on a contract, and I'm talking like $16,000, because athletes did not make a lot of money in the 60s. Right. Reality. And anyway, it's in the book. It says the player thought he was getting like 16,000, then he would go to sign the contract the following spring, and it was like 15. And then the player goes, "No, you agreed on 16." And the GM goes, "No, I didn't." They goes, "Yeah, you did. You told me 16." And the GM would say, "Prove it." Because they didn't do anything, no paper, just by phone. And that's how they did contracts. So a lot of times the GM would cut the money off the contract that he agreed upon. And the guy would get that, and he ended up playing for less money than he agreed to. Then they were all 1-year deals.
Right.
And they didn't make a lot of money back then. But,
right.
You're talking 15, 16,000. Which just, I'm reading this book, I'm laughing to myself going, this is terrible.
Yeah.
And then this is right when they got Marvin Miller to represent them. He signed the contract to be their representative. And they were like, yeah, I guess we'll use this guy. Well, Marvin Miller should be in the Hall of Fame, and he's not.
Right.
And I know why he's not, because he just really set those owners off. And he got the players all the money today. They should thank Marvin Miller for the free agency and doing what he did, being aggressive and with the owners and getting the players the money that they did. And Curt Flood's the other player we talk about in baseball that everybody should, bow their heads and thank Curt Flood for fighting it and losing his career.
Yeah, for that.
In having Curt Flood has passed.
And people think wasn't that good of a player.
Oh, he was a very good player. Curt Flood was a very good ball player.
Yep, I remember him with the A's and a couple other teams.
He was with the Cardinals. And he was quick. And he could like Bob Gibson said, Curt Flood ran all my mistakes that guys were hitting into the outfield. Curt Flood was running the ball down and saving doubles and triples because of his speed and fielding ability. And like I said, he sacrificed his career to fight the free agency. They had no free agency, and he was fighting that. And it was ultimately he failed, but then they won later down the road, and it was he was the person
figure
that got it going.
And people don't understand, he didn't just help baseball, he helped football and all these other
sports, right? Yep. And people need to realize all players out there, all of them need to just pay homage to Curt Flood, because of you were a free agent and now you're making $50-60 million a year NBA and whatever the players make college. I mean, not college, even the college. That's NIL, but pro football, basketball, and baseball.
Yes,
it was Curt Flood that took the hit.
Right. Yep.
But let's get back to the NFL. I did digress a little bit. Bolts are at the Fins.
The Bolts?
3.5. The Fins get 3.5.
The Bolts are at the Fins. So in Miami, the Bolts lost a major game last.
They got beat last week at home.
Yeah, they
Washington beat them 27. Was that home? They lost, or was that?
I think it was in Charger land. I think it was in. Well, that ain't real Charger land. That was in L.A. That's all I'll say is this was in L.A. I think I'm almost certain because I remember when Crockett was going in the end zone. That was wasn't it?
Yeah, they lost it.
I'm taking
the home field that they don't have.
Right.
Because
I'm taking the charge. They got to win. They got to get back on track.
They
lost their running back.
They lost.
They got
they're laying 3 and a hook.
Yeah, I know. And Miami has been. I got to give it to them trying to play together.
And Miami lost last week. Panthers 27-24.
Yeah, they're trying to play together to be in those games, but I just think the Chargers. I think Harbaugh knows this is I think it's a must win.
Yeah, because they're 3-2. The Fins are 1-4, and the Fins. I think at this point the question there is, does the coach survive? Because he's, I think, sadly week to week.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers.
Yeah, I debated on this too because I was kind of leaning. I don't know if Miami has enough in here, to make it a game, or do they go out and basically have a? I'll take the Fins at home, and I like the points. The 3 and a hook. Maybe it comes down to 3 points, and the Miami would win because you got the hook. I'll play in the hook. The next one is the Patriots at the Saints, and the Saints are getting 3 and a hook. Patriots come off that big win Sunday night, 23-20. Saints, hey, they had the G-men. They won a lot of turnovers. 5 turnovers by the G-men kind of handed the game to the Saints.
And the Saints, I do give it to them. They play hard.
Spencer Rattler played very good. He looked very confident, had a good game against the Giants, but in the Giants.
I'm trying to see what's going on with Kamara because it's been talking about he may be traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. It hasn't happened yet.
But they're working.
Yeah, and Chris Olave I forgot what team did they talk about he may be traded to. They're just getting rid of all kind of assets.
They're going to start the fire sale.
Yeah, the fire sale. So, but they've been competing, so this might be a game. This is in New Orleans. They getting 3 and a hook. What I seen in New England, it seemed like they should be able to handle them, but I don't know. This is a tricky game to me.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna take the Saints. I'm gonna go on the limb. 3 and a hook, right?
I'll take the Patriots, and the reason why I'm taking the Patriots, and I'm probably going to be wrong, but I have seen the Patriots. They're improving every week. Like they lost the first week to Vegas. They stubbed their toe. 2013, they beat Miami. Then they didn't play a good game with Pittsburgh. They lost 20, but their last 2 weeks, they beat Carolina bad 42-13, and they beat at Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think they're getting better.
They might be getting on the track. That's
and you got Diggs is playing really good. I like the way New England's playing here, and I think they're improving. I don't want to take anything away from the Saints win, but the Giants did turn the ball over 5 times. And if the Giants don't turn the ball over, they probably would have won the game.
Yeah.
But and they took advantage of the turnovers. I get it. I don't think New England's going to turn it over as much. Right. And I think New England is a better team. And I think Vrabel's got them going in the right direction. So I'll lay the points, though, and take the Patriots. Let's get to the Browns at the Steelers. Steelers are basically laying 6.5. They're coming off the bye. The Browns are coming back from New England. This isn't fair to the Browns. You're coming back from England, and then they put them on the road.
Yeah.
Like, at least give them a bye week, maybe. Can't you?
Every team, normally, when they play overseas,
they get the bye week.
They get the bye week.
Like, not only do the Browns get the bye week, but they get to go. They're not even home. They're on the road.
Right.
It's like, here, Cleveland. And obviously, Flacco, we didn't get to the Flacco. He's now.
Yeah, we should have been talking.
We didn't talk.
How did we did not?
We
talk
forgot.
About that?
Well, we had all this other stuff between college going on with Franklin and Belichick, and Anyway, but yeah, Flacco is now a Bengal, and he's going to start for the Bengals.
Yeah, and I don't blame them one bit.
And I don't blame them. I don't blame. I mean, Cleveland. He wants to play. You got a team interested in him. Make the trade. Let him go, and let's see what he does. Maybe he'll do better in Cincinnati than. What's his name?
Browning
did.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Browning.
I don't know what happened to him
because a couple years ago when he got in there, he looked
really good.
I said they got an excellent backup for Joe Burrow. He looks like regressed.
Yep,
I can't believe it.
I don't know what happened.
And he lost all his confidence in that game. He was just making mistake after mistake after mistake.
Yeah, he's done.
Every time he was on the bench, they would show him he's shaking his head. I said, this guy confidence is shot. Don't let him put him back in there. But I thought they was going to go out and get maybe Russell Wilson, somebody.
That's what or Jameis Winston.
Or Jameis Winston, yeah. And when they went on and got Flacco, I said, okay, but I know they want to throw the ball. I think I would have took Winston if I could have. I think Dable and them said no. And then
it might have been. Maybe Dable's the one. Because I think this is my take on Dable. If Jackson Dart gets hurt, which I'm a Giant fan, I don't want it to happen, but I have a bad feeling it's going to the way he's playing. If he gets hurt, I hope not, but if it would happen, I think he's going to go to Jameis Winston. I think he has just lost all confidence in Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson, I think he knows it. Dable knows it. And you saw it on that Thursday game when Russell Wilson even went in for those couple plays. It was a disaster.
Yeah.
And that's why Dable was acting like a lunatic trying to get Jackson Dart back in the game. And he was concussed.
Yeah, they didn't want to lose that mojo.
No, he had it all going, and Russell Wilson came in, and all the air just came out of the team.
Yeah.
And it wasn't long enough.
And I think Jameis Winston is just a guy that keeps energy.
He'll keep the energy up, and he's a real cheerleader type.
Yeah.
Guys like him, and he gets everybody going.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to happen. That's why I don't think Jameis Winston was going anywhere. Now, not to say that the Bengals didn't pick up the phone and ask. They might have, but I think Dable won't let him go. Maybe they didn't want Russell Wilson. Maybe the Bengals wanted Winston, and the Giants said no, and then they called the Browns, and Browns gave him Flacco.
Flacco will be Jamar Chase will love
Jamar
to see the
Chase
ball
will
coming,
like the ball
'cause
coming.
He got the arm.
So we got the Browns at the Steelers.
Oh God!
We went off the rail.
I really want to say 6.5, right?
6.5 at Pittsburgh.
I really want to go the Browns. I really do want to. I think I am. I think that's a lot of travel.
They're coming off. That's the problem I have with this. Steelers have a bye week, so they got the rest.
Right.
The Browns have a brutal schedule with where they, coming off. I mean, they just got back, and now they're on the road. And now you're in Pittsburgh playing your rival.
If they were smart, I don't know how they did it, but I wouldn't even went back to Cleveland. I actually would have traveled. Right to Pittsburgh and get my stuff going, because this is where you got Dylan Gabriel.
The only reason why I'm going the Steelers is because of that. I have a bad feeling the Browns are going to win.
Bye. See, I wasn't thinking of Pittsburgh not play.
Did not play their, and that's why I'm leaning toward them. They didn't have the travel and all the uproar, but they're coming off the bye. I think Rodgers will have that week of rest that he needs because he's older.
And he's got to get ready.
And he's got to get ready.
Be coming.
Right, and you're going to have Myles Garrett coming after him. But I think wooing all that's why I'll take the Steelers and lay the 6.5.
Yeah, I'll just stay with the Browns.
Let's go with the Dallas Cowboys at the Carolina Panthers 3.5. Carolina's getting 3.5.
I'm taking Dallas.
Me too. But Dallas is playing good offensively. Dak is playing. Hey, they're talking Dak Prescott MVP. So
he's playing,
and he's playing unbelievable.
They wouldn't even have the wins they had if they didn't have him.
If they didn't have Dak, no, they're 2-2-1.
The games they lost and we're close.
And we're close
because of him.
He should have beat the Eagles beginning of the year. They should have won that game.
He's playing great,
and he's playing really good. The only game they played bad was the Bears, but everything else they should have beat. They should have beat Green Bay on Sunday night. They'll tie 40-40 tie. Let's go to the Seahawks at the Jags.
Ooh, that's a good game.
Now I don't understand this, but I had to look at this twice. But the Jags are getting 1.5 on the road, coming off a Monday night win.
Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks. Because even though the Jags had a big win against Kansas City, technically they didn't play fundamentally well.
No, they did not.
Now, Devin Lloyd is playing out of his mind this season. He's out of his mind. When the guy at linebacker leads the league in interceptions, he runs a 99-yard one back. He's been playing great. And he's a team, they was going to bench him, but he won the job. But this is his contract year, and they was talking about, I don't know if he could play. You got to play the guy right, but I'm going to take Seahawks.
I have picked against the Jags every week, and I have lost.
Better take them.
I am taking the Jags this week and they're coming off a Monday night win. That's not good. And the only thing, Seattle's coming across the country.
Mm-hmm. So it evens out,
and that's where it evens out. So I lean to the Jags. They're getting 1.5, so I'll take the home dog. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the next one: the Rams at the Ravens.
Oh God!
7.5. The Ravens are getting 7.5.
I want you to tell me when you can remember the Ravens getting points at home, and not only that, 7.5 points.
Last week,
you don't see that.
Last week they got 2.5. Now it's 7.5.
You just don't see that in that.
And they got absolutely destroyed last week by the Texans. Maybe the Texans have come to life.
Their defense has been playing good all year.
But the offense found themselves.
Yes, Stroud and them starting to play well.
And maybe Stroud is starting to figure out. But getting back to the Rams at the Ravens, the Rams lost to the Niners Thursday night. I got to go the Rams and lay the points.
I am. I'm taking until the Ravens prove they can win.
Yeah, I can't take Cooper Rush as the backup. I think the defense is still kind of a mess. Granted, the Rams are coming east with the hours, the difference, but I'll take them. Let's go to the Titans at the Raiders. I don't know where you want to go with it, Dave.
I'm gonna take the Raiders. I want to look at it, analyze it. They should win this football game. But I don't know. But I'm gonna take
minus 3.5.
Yep, they at home, right? Vegas.
Yep. I'm gonna make a really big mistake. I'm gonna take the Titans and the points. They got their win last week. They're both these teams are 1-4,
and it might bolt them into something.
I don't know. I've been wrong all year. It doesn't matter. Let's go to the Bengals are at the Packers, 13.5. No, 14.5. They raised this. This was 13.5 this morning. Now it's 14.5. The Bengals are basically getting 14.5 in Green Bay. Joe Flacco was the starter. Packers are 2-1-1. They were bye. They're coming off the bye. The Packers did not play last week.
And the thing about it, they're actually saying the Cincinnati Bengals, I know they're having problems at quarterback, but they're telling me that their defense is just absolutely
it's horrendous.
Putrid.
It's bad.
And that's what they're looking at. 14.5. I mean, I have done good picks anyway, so I'm just going on a limb. I'm going to take the Bengals and 14.5 points. Come on now. Flacco, you should be able to hit Higgins and Jamar Chase. They should be big factors in this game.
I'll lay the points and the Packers just because.
Yeah, I can't blame that.
They'll put a lot of pressure on Flacco.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the problem. They don't have to look for him. Micah and Gary,
yeah,
you know where he's at. I know. He's not running nowhere.
And that's what's going to be.
He might start throwing interceptions.
And that's what Flacco does. When Flacco gets the pressure, he throws the ball bad.
They should have traded for Shedeur Sanders.
That's who they should have got.
But they wasn't giving him up.
Well, they don't want to get. No, they're not trading Shedeur because of all the jersey sales.
And I read a story too that they are afraid. An insider said that they are afraid to trade him because they think that he will make a mockery of the Cleveland Browns by going somewhere.
Oh yeah,
and actually playing well.
And, they're scared of him. I think that can happen.
Yeah, I know. I do think that.
I think that can. I think that's a real chance of that happening. That he would go someplace, go to a team, somehow, some way, they get an injury, they stick him in there, and he starts playing pretty good. And they're going.
And would that have been something at the Bengals if that happened in state and in the conference?
In the conference,
that's why they wasn't giving him up.
No
way.
They're not trading him. No. I think they're keeping him for another. I think he's staying on the team.
Me too.
They're going to develop him.
Yeah,
they're going to let him. They made him the backup to Dylan. Now they put him up on the chart.
What are you doing thinking about Bailey's? Nothing against Bailey's after he showed he's an NFL player. He can play.
But he's
not your future. So why would you do that?
Move Shedeur, play and keep. I think they're going to keep Shedeur Sanders on the team with the idea that we can develop this guy. He could do okay. Depending on what they do, they might have another crack at another quarterback next year with this stress. So who knows? But I think they're going to keep Shedeur because they got and it's a 5th-round rookie. The contract's great, not killing your cap. So you keep a guy. Right. You're not paying him anything. He's let's go to the 49ers at the Buccaneers, and the 49ers are getting 3.5.
Man, this is tough. As long as Mac Jones is healthy,
Mac Jones is.
I'm really thinking about taking San Fran. They really stepped up.
The only thing
Tampa's so good. I like them too. They got some injuries too.
But the only thing I debate on this, I have the Buccaneers. I might change it just because every game Tampa Bay wins, they barely win.
I know.
They don't the problem with
they
Tampa
don't
Bay.
Annihilate nobody.
No, their wins are like this: 38-35. They beat the Seahawks. They lost to the Eagles 31-25, but their wins are 23-20 Atlanta, 20-19 Houston, 29-27 over the Jets. They don't blow anybody out.
Yeah. And how many points?
3.5. I'm changing it.
Yeah.
I'm going 49ers.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Because I think the Bucs can win but not cover.
Yep.
I think that's what's going to happen. They'll win by 3 points. Because look at their games.
Yep.
They haven't beaten anybody by more than 3 points.
No. They playing tough games. They show they can win big games. So, but will they win by enough?
That's what I'm looking. I just changed it. I'm taking the 49ers on the hook.
Right.
The Sunday night game is going to be so good. Lions at the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's got to be.
This is a surprise.
This is a must win.
The Chiefs.
For the Chiefs.
Yeah, because they're basically 2-3.
They was trying to get I told you that trade about Kamara. They was trying to get him this week. Because they got him to put with the extra guys they got. Rasheed Rice coming back in about a week or two. So
the Lions are basically getting 2.5 in this game.
Oh, the Lions are getting points.
The Chiefs are basically minus 2.5. The Chiefs are basically 2.5 point favorite.
And they're at home, right?
And they're at home.
I'm going to still take the Lions.
Me too.
I mean, if they beat them, they beat them, and they showing championship.
I'll take Lions.
And I know they can.
Points.
I know the Chiefs can win this and show that championship medal, but the Lions have been playing well. I'm taking them.
They had the one blip beginning of the season where they lost to the Packers, but since then, they've won 4 straight. And really, when you look at their 4 wins, I mean, they beat Chicago 52-21. They beat Baltimore 38-30 when they had Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Cleveland 34-10. They beat the Bengals 37-24.
Yeah.
So they've been winning significantly, and they've been beating these teams. Now, granted, but Baltimore was a good team when they beat them. Chicago was still pretty decent. They lost to Green Bay. All right, first game of the season. Yeah. New coordinators, new change. Okay. But since then, they've been beating everybody.
So I'm gonna go with that. I'm definitely going Detroit.
Doubleheader Monday night.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We like that every day. I love
it. They should do it every. They do it. It seems like they do it every. They're doing it every couple of weeks now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're doing it again next week.
Yeah, they keep doing it. I love it.
I love Monday. I love the doubleheader games.
Yep.
Bills are at the Falcons. And the Falcons are getting 4.5. The Bills coming off an ugly loss to the New England Patriots on Sunday night, 23-20. Falcons are coming off a bye week. So the Falcons are 2-2, coming off the bye. The Bills are 4-1, and they basically lost the game. First loss to they have no undefeated teams.
Nope.
This is like since 2014, where they had through 5 games, no undefeated teams.
Right.
So very parity at its highest, I think, in the NFL.
Right. Yep.
You know that.
I'm going to take the Bills. Just because it's the Bills. I mean, they got to win. They need to win. But I'm going to be honest. I can't walk away and think that Atlanta can't win this because they're at home. They can be dangerous.
I'm going to go out because I haven't done my picks are kind of in the toilet. I'm waiting for the Gessler's Wild Dogs to come in and save me. I'll take the Falcons, and I like the point 4.5. They get 4.5 at home. I could see this coming down to a field goal game.
I mean, it could.
It could.
Would you see that? Remember the last time we talked about the Falcons? Remember that pass rush? I forgot who they was playing. Remember we said that pass rush with those young guys they drafted. They just that nucleus.
I think they can give Buffalo a game.
Yeah.
It's ESPN 7:15. It's the first game. Then we end the game. We end it with the Bears at the Commanders. 1 and
Hail
2.
Mary game.
It was the Bears, Caleb, taking on the number 1 pick, taking on the number 2 pick.
And what's the total?
4.5.
The Bears get 4.5.
Bears get 4.5 in Washington on Monday night, 8:15 ABC. The Bears are getting 4.5. They're on the road.
Oh,
so
that's a hard one.
That's a tough one because can the Bears keep this close? And
close one last year.
Like last year, yeah.
The Hail Mary.
The Hail Mary.
Because the Bears had them. They had them.
Yep. Had them.
They got to get back. So I'm gonna take the Bears. That's hard though. But I am.
Yeah, I don't. I kind of go back and forth on this.
It's hard.
You know what? I know I'm going to take the Bears because I'll take the 4.5 because I think the Bears can keep it close.
Yeah.
With Washington. Washington, though, might have found their mojo. They won last week over the Bolts 27-10. The Bears are coming off a bye week. And the teams not playing this week are the Vikings and the Texans. They have the bye.
It's those 2 teams?
Yeah, the only 2 byes this week, Vikings and Texans. So they're off. Everyone else is playing.
Yep.
15 games.
Yep, I'm gonna go with that. I'll take the Bears. That's gonna be tough.
I'll take Bears too because I think Caleb and the Bears coming off the bye should be ready to go. And
they should.
I mean, granted though, the Bolts come back they beat Washington. Could have found their way.
Yeah, because they did. They looked
They
good.
went out on they went out and they played great, and they won a tough road game it should be in San Diego, not in LA, because that is a kind of a home game for any visiting team out there.
Yeah.
The big gazebo where they play the game, as they call it, the big gazebo that basically is a home field for all of the visiting teams because
it's worse with the Chargers.
The Chargers are the worst. The Rams are not good, but the Chargers are worse than the Rams. They have nobody from San Diego come up for that game.
Yeah,
and people,
if they did, it's minuscule. You don't know.
No,
you don't know. At least you hear a difference when the Rams is there,
right?
But man, it's not. I don't like it for neither team.
No, I don't either.
The Rams could have just went on and stayed in St. Louis.
They should have stayed in St. Louis. Because the NFL needed the team in LA, and they forced that back, and then they threw the Chargers in there because the owner thought the value of the team would be more in LA, so that's why he moved. That's why he didn't stay in San Diego.
They needed to get a new team and get it in St. Louis.
And they put one in San Diego.
Congratulations to Columbus, though. They got a UFL team.
All right.
Yeah, they got a UFL in Columbus.
Everybody have a great and a safe week. Stay sober. Don't drink. Don't drive. Buckle up. Saturday Morning Sports Page, Pat Lucia, Dave Clark on Western Reserve Radio.
Youngstown, Warren, and Salem's local and national sports talk can be found on TuneIn and the Live 365 app at Western Reserve Radio, WRDB, The Scourge.
Vegas.com.
Countdown to kickoff is the final word before the NFL games begin on Sunday. Join Jonathan Von Tobel and Stormy Bonatoni each week as they preview the day's games and discuss the latest odds and money movement with Circa CEO Derek Stevens. Warren Sharp joins the show and takes us through his picks and sharp analysis for the games. For all the latest news, injuries, odds, and lineup changes, tune in to Countdown to Kickoff every Sunday from noon to 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome into College Football Week 7. It's Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. He's Ben Stevens. I'm Dustin Sweetelson, and we got you covered all early window long right here on the Sports Betting Network. We have got a jam-packed show lined up for you, some great guests along the way, but first we got to get into the games that are about to kick off here in the early window of action, Ben. And I want to get your thoughts on this SEC tilt. We've seen this number move. Alabama on the road in Columbia, Missouri. The Tigers coming off of their bye, and they're going to welcome in the Tide, who've had to get up 2 weeks in a row. Once in between the hedges at Georgia, followed by a revenge spot last week against Vanderbilt. Now they're going to Missouri, where a feisty Tigers team is awaiting their arrival. This number's been bet down from 4.5 down to 3. Tide favored on the road, total of 51. What are your thoughts on this SEC matchup?
Maybe the biggest game in Columbia, Missouri for the Tigers football program, Dustin Sweetelson, in more than a decade. It is the first top 15 matchup in Columbia for Mizzou football, hosting since 1979, 46 seasons ago. And I agree with the market movement. Missouri as a 3.5-point underdog or fewer. And SEC action under Eli Drinkwitz since 2021 in those full campaigns. 5-1 outright, straight up. The only non-cover when they got beat bad last year on the road in College Station. This game at home, where Missouri has been all of 2025. They have not hit the road just yet, and they have won 15 consecutive games in Como. One of the main reasons, Dustin, that I am buying into the Tigers is the third best rushing offense in the country and the FBS leader in rushing yards so far this year in the ULM transfer, Mizzou's Ahmad Hardy. That has been the Crimson Tide's weakness on the defensive side of the ball, allowing 155 yards per game. Last week against Vandy, 7.6 yards per carry. The week prior against Georgia, despite victories, nearly 7 yards per pop as well. I think Missouri makes a statement for not just the biggest game in Columbia in about a decade and a half, but maybe the biggest victory for Missouri football in the last 15 years as well.
I am on the Missouri Tigers. I got 4.5 early in the week. It does feel like it may be a public dog, so we'll find out later in the day if we are right or wrong. Another big tilt going down in the early window of action. We've got Ohio State going to Illinois, where Illinois has got to get right. If their dreams of upsetting the apple cart, making the playoffs, surprising people, and being playoff bound, they're going to have to pick up a surprise win as 14.5-point home underdogs to the Buckeyes this week. When you look at this matchup, how do you expect this one to go between Ohio State and Illinois?
Yeah, Dustin, how blessed are we in this early window that 2 of the 3 top 25 tilts, ranked versus ranked matchups right here, right now, starting at noon Eastern. A historic game in Columbia, as we discussed, a historic matchup in Champaign. The second time in 3 weeks, the Fighting Illini have hosted a top 25 game. That matches the most in a single season since 1991. The first time Illinois has been ranked and will host the number 1 team in the nation since 1950. And conveniently, that was also the Ohio State Buckeyes. Illinois winning in that game now nearly 3/4 of a century ago. Dustin, one of the spots that we really should not be surprised from what the betting market and the handicapping is telling us, outside of the football matchup, outside of the key X's and O's. We have seen Illinois in a big spot against Indiana, and they got lambasted, losing by 53 points. Ohio State looks deserving of the number 1 team in the country. Most of the public betting market all over the Buckeyes. But when this line opened on DraftKings on Sunday afternoon, it was 15.5. Most of the sharps on the Illini. It has moved the line closer to 14 points, now 14.5 as we get ready for kick in Champaign. My key to the game, Dustin, is simply this. Illinois needs to get through its team total to stay within striking distance and stay within that margin. The Illini's team total is 13.5. Ohio State, the most elite defense in the country, has not allowed an opponent in 5 games so far this year to even get to double digits. That's 10+. If Illinois has any hope of keeping this game tightly contested today at Memorial Stadium, they need to score at least 14-17, and that is a very difficult task against this Buckeyes defense.
Yeah, I'm on the under. Brett Bielema 20 and 8 to the under at Illinois as an underdog, 7-2 to the under as a home dog, while with the Fighting Illini. So we'll see how that game plays out. They're getting ready to get going. Illinois in the all-orange unis, which I'm kind of feeling right now. How about this, though? UCLA, did you do anything with this game? Coming off the miraculous win against Penn State at the Rose Bowl, they're at Michigan State. Look, Sparty's not quite as good as maybe you'd like to see a couple years into the Jonathan Smith era, but it feels like a sleepy spot to fade the Bruins here. I didn't get to the window with it. They had a 3-and-out on their opening drive. They're punting it away right now. Is there an opportunity right now in game to get down on Michigan State?
Yeah, I jumped in early this week, Dustin, on Michigan State for that sleepy spot. One of the great moments of this college football season, if you are not from State College, Pennsylvania, or had any wagers on Penn State, was Jerry Neuheisel, the interim OC, being carried off the field in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena last week for one of the historic upsets we have seen in generations in this sport. But now to make the trip from Westwood, LA to East Lansing to take on an MSU team that frankly is winless in Big Ten play and has looked disappointing, namely on the defensive side of the ball. Feels like UCLA should be able to ride that wave of momentum. I jumped in early on Sparty, though, laying 7.5. This line touching 8.5 for a good majority of the week. It just feels like that spot for Michigan State to rectify its season, get conference win number 1 here in year number 2 under Jonathan Smith. And again, Dustin, key for me is Aiden Childs in the offense. He threw for fewer than 90 yards last week, had only 9 completions in a difficult game against a suffocating secondary for Nebraska. Can that offense get going here against the UCLA defense that is the worst scoring unit in all of the Big Ten Conference?
Yep, that situation reminds me, I always go back to the TV show Stranger Things. Those 2 brothers, they waited their whole life to build up that script and write it forever, and for that moment for it to get approved and taken by Netflix, and it finally gets put together and on the air, and then it's a success. And you know what happens? They go, what do you got for season 2? I think the same question should be asked of UCLA and Jerry Neuheisel, who it was a tremendous performance where you caught Penn State on their heels. They didn't know what you were going to do offensively. Well, now there's a playbook. Now there's film for these teams to adjust to. What do you got? And they have way less time to prepare for this moment than you did for your first time ever calling plays. He's Ben Stevens. I'm Dustin Sweetelson. This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We're about to get going in Columbia, Missouri. That crowd is fired up. Early start time for Alabama, which I usually get concerned about for them because they're used to prime time. They're used to the big games. And for Missouri, Bo Prabula wants to send a message because I think he looks at Penn State and goes, hey, if I was still there, guys, how good would that team be? Would we actually be a title contender? And then I'm looking at some trends. Eli Drinkwitz, very underrated coach, Ben. 10-3 against the spread as a home dog, 7-3 against the spread off a bye at Missouri. DeBoer, while at Alabama, just 2-4 against the spread as a road favorite, 10-11 against the spread in his career as a road favorite. Everything tells me Missouri's got something for the Tide here, as Michigan State is picking up a few yards there. They're in field goal range already. So just like that, Sparty already in field goal range on their opening drive. This is a good performance for them. You wanted to see it. You mentioned Aiden Childs, benched at one point a week ago. Want to see him get back on the right side of things. I am on a couple weird early bets, some of the smaller schools. I laid 18 with James Madison taking on Louisiana today. I bet on the two Sun Belt teams, Old Dominion and James Madison. I know they face each other next week, so it could be looked at as a sandwich spot, Ben. But I think both those teams think that they are college football playoff bound. There's an opportunity there to be that group of 4 team that gets selected. And I think when you take on teams like Louisiana, you take on teams like Marshall, it's an opportunity to send a message to the committee that we're in a different class than the rest of our league.
The Dukes have been fantastic this year. They are 4-1. The only outright loss was against Louisville, a power conference team, and JMU was within that game for all 60 minutes, covering as a 14.5-point underdog. JMU is the 4th best total defense in college football, allowing just a tick above 217 yards per game. They are one of 15 teams at the FBS level, allowing fewer than 2 touchdowns per game on average. That's less than 14 points per game. The Dukes have been sensational defensively, and Dustin, that's a key, along with Oklahoma, who we will talk about later for Red River, and if John Mateer is going to play against Texas. JMU and Oklahoma, the only 2 FBS programs, and there's 136 that have gone to the under in every single game this year. JMU under in 5, they have played 5. If the Dukes can dominate defensively, that's how they cover this lofty spread against Louisiana.
We'll get a good look at the Missouri offense first, see if they can get some points on the board, maybe flip that spread for us. We could look for a middle opportunity coming back the other way with Alabama. Some betting opportunities we'll find. Ben touched on it. We will hit Red River, Oklahoma, and Texas at the Cotton Bowl. Chance Mock's going to join us at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, former Texas quarterback. Get his thoughts not just on the Longhorns, but what he anticipates with John Mateer and his situation. Will he or won't he end up suiting up today for the Sooners? Steve Tannen, host in Eugene, Oregon, Sports Talk Radio at 1:45 p.m. Eastern. He'll check in with us, and we'll get his thoughts on Indiana coming to town, what his anticipation is for that matchup in the Big Ten. And then at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time, Stephen Garcia, former South Carolina quarterback, not afraid of opinions. He'll be on the program. We'll get his thoughts on all of the SEC action as Missouri is on the move and we are in field goal range. Bo Prabula with a big run to the right side, Ben Stevens, and they're coming out hot in Columbia.
Yes, they certainly are. Ahmad Hardy on the ground, making waves. Bo Prabula, the athlete, who also has a 75% completion percentage so far this season, getting chunks on the ground against an Alabama defense. A reminder that allows 155 yards per game.
The Ohio State offense is on the field. Their opening drive in Champaign, Illinois. We'll tell you how that goes down coming up in our next segment. We'll have some bets along the way. Hang with us all afternoon long. He's Ben Stevens. I'm Dustin Sweetelson, and you're locked in to Live Bet Saturday on VSiN. It's the Sports Betting Network.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm, I am. Ooma has everything I need to handle the busy holiday season, like virtual receptionist.
If I could be you,
and you could be me for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
to get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out, and for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Are you ready to hit the gridiron and make your mark? The Cleveland Cobras are recruiting players and coaches for the upcoming Premier Amateur Football League season. We're looking for passion, grit, and the relentless drive to win. Whether you're a seasoned vet or hungry rookie, your shot starts now. Join a brotherhood, build a legacy, strike with the Cobras. Follow us on Facebook at Cleveland Cobras Football, or for league information, visit TAFLfootball.com to get started today. Team Pride Cobras.
This is Everett Fitzhugh, the radio voice of the NHL Seattle Kraken, and you're listening to the home of the Youngstown Phantoms, Western Reserve Radio.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the sports betting network.
I know I say it each and every week, but this is probably the best Saturday of college football we have had the entirety of 2025. And if not the best entire Saturday, at least the early noon window, where we have two of our three ranked versus ranked top 25 tilts, and both now officially underway. He's Dustin Sweetelson. I am Ben Stevens. We appreciate you joining us here to get your Saturday started in the exact right place on Live Bet Saturday. And let's head to one of those spots, the top 15 matchup in Columbia, Missouri, where the home team, the underdog, the Tigers, make a statement on the opening offensive possession. Rather quickly, Dustin, more than 70 yards down the field in fewer than 3 minutes of regulation. Bo Prabula and the Tigers into the end zone. Missouri leads early 7-0 over Alabama. And as Dustin alluded to right before the commercial break, if Missouri could capitalize on its opening offensive drive, might the line flip? Because the Tigers closed as a 3-point home underdog. That live number at last check, Dustin, Mizzou, now a live 2.5-point favorite against the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I'm going to wait to get any more action on this game in, Ben, just because Alabama was just bailed out by a penalty. They were facing a 3rd and 10. Mizzou got penalized. I didn't see what the actual call was. Set up a new set of downs for the Tide. So they're still working out of their own territory, Alabama. But you can tell the energy. They're feeding off of the crowd right now. Everyone in Columbia understands how big this game is. And now a 2nd and 10 for Ty Simpson on the road. And you have to wonder if Missouri is able to make Alabama one-dimensional, as good as Ty Simpson has been. But if they could just sit back, pin their ears back, get after the quarterback, that could be the recipe here for success to make Alabama an unbalanced offense. And as I say that, they pick up a stop on 2nd down. That'll bring up a 3rd and 8 with under 10 minutes to go in the first, Ben. And I just saw the market briefly flip to -3.5. It's back down to 2.5. But I do think the crowd is playing a role, and I think for Alabama, we're asking a lot out of college kids. I mentioned it in the Open 2 weeks ago. They had to get up, go to Athens, take on Georgia, who they're normally used to just seeing in SEC title games. Then they had to welcome in Vanderbilt to town in a revenge spot from a year ago when they were upset in Nashville. Also, keep in mind, next week they go to Tennessee. Not that they're overlooking Missouri, but it's just one of those deals. You're asking a bunch of 18 to 23-year-olds right now to have to get up for big game after big game after big game. And sometimes when you sign up to go to Alabama, that's not necessarily what you're used to.
It's the third consecutive week against that ranked foe, looking for a third consecutive victory against a ranked opponent, which would be SEC lore for this Crimson Tide team. But it is a difficult spot in Missouri, who has been at home for the entirety of 2025, fresh off the open weekend, very ready for this opportunity as well. Again, it's not hyperbole to say this is the biggest game in Columbia for Mizzou in 15 years. It is the first time they have hosted a top 15 matchup since 1979, and all of that spot and significance certainly in play, but so is the X's and O's. Missouri, the third best rushing offense in the sport, averaging better than 290 yards per game. They're the best rushing defense in college football, so they put the onus on Alabama's quarterback, Ty Simpson, who has been great so far this season. Third best price to win the Heisman Trophy entering Week 7. Some other early scores for you around the country. We had 11 games kick off at noon Eastern time in FBS college football. Dustin, Michigan State, marches down the field on its opening offensive drive. Aiden Childs, who had 2 rushing TDs last week in Lincoln, hits pay dirt once again. The QB for the Spartans. MSU leads early 7-zip over UCLA. And we've got some great rivalries in the sport today. Red River, the Deep South's oldest in Jordan-Hare between Auburn and top 10 Georgia. We've got Illinois back in our lives. Ohio State threatening now in Illinois territory. But also the Battle of I-75. The Toledo Rockets against Bowling Green. Toledo on the board early. 7-zip the lead for the Rockets so far in some action as well.
That was a weird number for me this week with Bowling Green hosting Toledo. I initially leaned with Eddie George's squad because they've been feisty out of the gate. But at the same time, Jason Candle, he's already lost one this year. I think he needs to send a message if he wants to do what he needs to do in the MAC this season. You mentioned Ohio State on the move. I am very concerned for Illinois being able to keep pace with them. That's why I'm on the under in that game. I think Ohio State's going to score a little bit. But I do think in the end, this game does stay under the total. And speaking of scoring, I need a touchdown right now at West Point. I laid it with Army -17 this week. This is a simple handicap for me. What does it take to stop the triple option? It takes disciplined football. You don't have to be the best team, but you have to be able to stay in your lanes, and you have to be able to play as a unit. Charlotte, to me, is not a disciplined team yet under Tim Albin. He's a very good coach coming from the MAC from Ohio a year ago. I think he'll get them righted in the right direction. But to me, who's more disciplined than Army? I mean, you can only argue Air Force and Navy. So I think Army is going to end up doing a lot of work today. And they made a switch at quarterback. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah.
Cale Helms is taking over for Dwayne Coleman. Coleman was the starter originally, but Helms has come in. He was part of the Kansas State win for them. So they'll mix in both quarterbacks along the way. But I think Army has a chance to win big against Charlotte at home at West Point Bend, where early in these windows, you got to look for these opportunities. And to me, for Charlotte, they are not built for the discipline that it takes to beat the Black Knights.
And I think you bring up a great point. Tim Albin is an incredible coach from what he did at Ohio. The Bobcats, one of a few teams around the country in college football, Group of 5 power conference, doesn't matter, to win double-digit games each of the previous 2 years entering 2025. That was all Tim Albin, but now he's at Charlotte, the new head coach at Ohio, doing pretty swell as well for those Bobcats. Certainly in the running for another MAC championship appearance, as is Toledo entering this second Saturday of October. The slight favorites in the MAC. Dustin, huge stop for Illinois.
Wow.
3rd and 5 inside their own 15-yard line, and the Illini are going to force a short field goal try for the Buckeyes from 26 yards out. Jaden Fielding on the turf right now for Ohio State. You mentioned it there. I think Ohio State can do some scoring as the field goal sneaks right past that left upright and in. Ohio State, the early lead in Champaign, 3-0 with a little bit more than 5.5 minutes gone. My concern for this game is Illinois' defense in Illinois' offense. And yeah, I bet them plus 14.5 earlier this week. Can Illinois get through that team total? Nobody has scored double digits yet against the Bucks. Nobody has even gotten to 10 in a game so far this year. But Illinois' defense, as we have seen in this early window, often allows a lot of yardage. 388 yards per game. That is the third worst total defense in all of the Big Ten. Those issues have been masked by the turnover margin. Best in the Big Ten, a +7 margin for the Illini when it comes to takeaways. But if Ohio State is disciplined, I think that's a Band-Aid over some bigger wounds for the Illini. And are they going to be able to score enough to keep pace with a Buckeyes offense that I expect to have its way with this Illinois defense today?
Alabama has responded, Ben. A touchdown drive of their own, 11 plays, 78 yards. It looked like it was going to stall out very early. They get the benefit of a penalty, and they end up finding the end zone. That's a big answer. When you're on the road, you don't want to let this thing get away from you early. Looking at the betting market, the adjustment in the number, we are back to about where we started. Alabama laying 3.5, 59.5. But this is where we find out who the good coaches are. How good are you as a coach? Because everyone can look good on a scripted drive. How do you adjust? How do you adjust to the other team? How do they adjust to your adjustments? Feels like we are going to be feeling ourselves out with Alabama and Missouri for a little bit here before one of them separates. And I should add, Army ended up punching it in. They're up 7-0 on Charlotte, so I feel good about that. They're laying 21.5 in the market right now. And don't look in Tallahassee. Pittsburgh has scored first. You know, they made the quarterback change. I was shocked that they benched Eli Holstein. I like Eli Holstein, but apparently this kid they replaced him with is better, and he's going down to Tallahassee where Florida State is pretty banged up injury-wise, but also they're not just licking their wounds when it comes to physical. They're licking their wounds mentally coming off that loss to Miami a week ago where you have to wonder the motivation of this team after they upset Alabama, they lose to Miami, they lost on the road to Virginia a couple weeks ago. Could this get out of hand for Norvell at some point?
A 15-play, 75-yard, 8-minute and 5-second touchdown drive for Pitt, the opening offensive possession of the game in Tallahassee. Mason Heinschel, the young quarterback, Dustin, to your point, looking pretty good. And big news for the Panthers today, Des Reed back. FSU injured without their top two targets in Javen Boggs and Squirrel White for that offense. It is a college football Saturday, and Week 7 now just underway. But First Bet and VSiN have teamed up with a special offer for you. Open and deposit into a new First Bet account and get up to a $250 sign-up bonus with promo code VSiN250. Then place $100 in wagers within your first 30 days, and you'll unlock a full year of VSiN Pro. That's a $240 value. Already a subscriber? We'll extend your subscription another year. This offer ends Sunday, so don't wait. For more information, go to first.com/VSiN. That's 1st.com/VSIN. Dustin Sweetelson, we are rolling here in Week 7. And just a quick point on the live odds as we hit the break. Alabama, after the score, back to a 3.5-point live favorite. Back and forth we go in Columbia, and we are with you the entirety of this Week 7 Saturday on Live Bet Saturday next.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your priceless vinyl collection. Sure, you sleep on a futon because the money most people would have spent on a bed you spent on more records. But forget the fact that you can stream just about any song ever created.
What is dedication?
I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy. And I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between, it really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch.
Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. She wasn't even really sure where she was at.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it. I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, we'll figure it out."
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Someone's got to set the tone out there, boys. Someone's got to set it.
The station that sets the tone for Youngstown Phantoms hockey is Western Reserve Radio. WRDB, The Scourge.
Tailgate Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard shared their knowledge of sports, gambling, and pop culture on Follow the Money.
He can't get like 700 yards? I know the guy was shot last year.
Once they were gone, they did nothing the rest of their career. Elway made them, Favre made Brooks, Favre made Freeman and those guys.
They'll keep tabs on the big wins and bad beats from the night before. Plus, get you geared up for the action that's about to begin. Follow the Money, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Live Bet Saturday rolls on. I'm Dustin Sweetelson, live from the Circus Sportsbook, downtown Las Vegas. He's Ben Stevens, and we have a pickle for Ohio State in Champaign, Illinois. I don't know if that pairs well, champagne and pickles, but that's what we got going on. As they've turned Luke Altmaier over, a tipped ball intercepted by the Buckeyes. They take over, and they are in Illinois territory beginning at the 35-yard line. They lead 3-0, Ben. And this is where things could get dicey for Illinois because Ohio State's going to make them one-dimensional. It's the best defense in the country. They're going to stop the run. So the game will be in the hands of Luke Altmaier, where against some weaker teams, we've seen Luke Altmaier thrive. However, this is a different animal right now with Ohio State in town. The market has the Buckeyes up to 18.5-point favorites. The total is right back where we started at 51.5.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Dustin, about where this market has adjusted to, because it was not just a turnover near midfield on a third and manageable for the Illini, but a slight return for Ohio State's defense. And now the Buckeyes already within field goal range, certainly flirting with the red area with a play or two with positive yardage. And Ohio State moved the football well, but Illinois' defense buckling up when it matters, holding Ohio State to only a field goal. That felt like a small victory for Brett Bielema and company, and they were moving it okay against an Ohio State defense where that is a very difficult task. But to have the turnover is costly. Dustin, we said one of the key ingredients for this game. Illinois could mask some of the defensive issues this year because of how great they are at creating chaos in takeaways. The best turnover margin in the Big Ten, a +7, tied for the 5th best nationally in FBS college football. Part of that is because of the defense. Part of that is also because Luke Altmaier had not thrown an interception yet this year until that pass that was tipped on 3rd and short that the Buckeyes snag out of the air. Ohio State in a good spot, and to see that live line get all the way up to 18.5, indicative of how huge that momentum swing was in Champaign.
Yeah, you have to wonder for Ohio State, are we actually underrating them? I know where they sit in the betting market when it comes to futures, but are we not properly rating that they are a national title team, that they're the defending champs for a reason? I know they lost a lot of guys off that roster, but Julian Sayan's on the road in the Big Ten right now, and they don't have a lot of Big Ten road tests coming up. Penn State's going to come to their building in a couple of weeks, and the rest of the schedule is very manageable for them to continue to get that young quarterback acclimated, developed, open up the offense. I think one thing when you look at Ohio State, the team that we're seeing early in the year, the team that we're seeing now at the midway point is very different than the team that is going to be there come college football playoff time. The problem becomes the number, right? Is under 5-1 enough to entice you to bet them to win a national title? That is the question you have to ask yourself, Ben.
And I would say yes, it is still enough to entice me because, Dustin, entering this year, I was a little bit skeptical because of all that Ohio State lost. But they're one of those programs, of course, that has so much talent to rejuvenate a roster instantly. That wasn't my main concern, the 14 guys drafted in the NFL in April of 2025. It was the change in play callers. Brian Hartline had been there under Ryan Day, not as concerned offensively. It was Matt Patricia taking over for the best scoring defense in the country that was critical for Ohio State in winning that national championship. And the 8 guys off that side of the football all drafted in the NFL, and Patricia with very little knowledge of what it takes at this level of college football. And I was skeptical. I asked some questions, maybe not overly concerned, but skeptical. What they have done in the first 5 games has been unreal. 25 points in total, the fewest by a Big Ten team in the first 5 weeks of a season since Michigan in 1985. 4 decades ago. And we are starting to see the offense open up. And even if the training wheels have been on, so to say, for Julian Sayan, he has taken advantage and looked ever efficient. Best completion percentage in the sport. The only quarterback that has a better than 80% completion percentage so far this year. And in an old school Big Ten I formation, they run it right up the gut. And the WVU transfer, C.J. Donaldson, pays off the interception. Ohio State awaiting the extra point, Dustin, about to take a double-digit lead over the Illini. And a double-digit lead, 10 points against an Ohio State team that has not allowed an opponent to score 10 points so far this year, might feel like dog years and be closer to 70.
Yeah, you mentioned the Matt Patricia edition. I was with you. I wondered what he was as a defensive play caller, specifically at the collegiate level. Well, thus far, they're number 1 in scoring defense. They're number 1 in points per play. They're 3rd in total defense, 3rd in yards per play, 2nd on 3rd down, 21st versus the run, 4th versus the pass. They are a dominant force, and that is going to make it a very uphill battle for Illinois today. An update in Columbia. We're going to get a targeting call, and we have a player who was just knocked out. Scary situation for Alabama. Receiver going over the middle. Safety comes in, pops him as the ball gets there. I'm very conflicted on this because it looks really bad because the player is down and didn't look like they were moving. And I know it's technically targeting, but I don't know what the defender is necessarily supposed to do in these situations at time. And I think we're making it very difficult for them to make plays out there. And this is going to end up being targeting, so they're going to likely lose a starting safety that's going to get taken out of the game from Missouri, because once you see this replay, Ben, there's no doubt to me, like that is the call and it's going to stand. But then on the other side for Alabama, they're going to be down a player. I thought it was number 30, but it actually might have been number 80, Josh Cuevas. I have to see when they come back who was on the field, but it's a scary situation. He was down and motionless, man. This could suck the life out of that building.
We know this game is a violent game that we love in football, and it's those moments that happen where everybody just holds their breath and hopes for the best outcome. I haven't seen the play. I haven't seen the reaction. I do have the game now pulled up here on my monitor. It's in a commercial break. As Dustin said, we're tied at 7-7, and part of that energy was the opening offensive possession for Mizzou, marching it right down the field in less than 3 minutes to take that opening lead and score the opening touchdown. We're tied at 7 apiece, and Alabama back to a 4.5-point favorite, which was the early number this week, closed closer to 3. Total on its way up as well. I bet the under at 52 early in the week. Public all over the over. as you might guess. The Sharps, about 96% of them at circa on the under, and the total worked its way down despite all of that public handle. I'd like the under. Not a great spot for the under with both teams scoring on their opening offensive possessions. Tough moment there, Dustin. We'll see what the call is. We'll see what happens on the field in Missouri. And it's always what is the response from both sides when you're playing a game and that feels like a very human element added in.
The sequel may be better than the original. UCLA has a 10-7 lead on the road in East Lansing. All of a sudden, man, Jerry Neuheisel is about to get the bag in the offseason calling the plays for UCLA. You've never seen a play caller that you didn't know about 2 weeks ago get more hype than Neuheisel. But to be fair, this is a UCLA offense that had looked very stagnant. There was no creativity, and they weren't moving the football. They're on the road in the Big Ten. I don't care what you think of Sparty this year. That's impressive. To also deal with the adversity of going down 7-0, and now you're up 10-7. I think that speaks volumes about where the character of that locker room is right now, how much they believe in this coaching staff taking over, and also just people acknowledging what has gone wrong and adjusting. As the Alabama player was, I think it was Meadows coming off the field, it said. He was walking, being helped by other people, but he looked very much out of it as Alabama has the ball on the 41-yard line of Missouri with a tie game 7-7, but a chance for the Tide to go up either with a field goal or a touchdown on this drive. I want to get the betting market for UCLA and Michigan State. Sparty's laying 3.5, Ben. Could I entice you? I know you already laid it with Michigan State. Is 3.5 good enough for me to jump in right now? That's what I'm considering, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to fade this wagon of UCLA football with Jerry Neuheisel calling plays.
So two concerning things. Yes, if MSU were to score a touchdown right here, they're immediately covering the live number that you would place that wager on at 3.5. That's a good side of it. But my concern entering this game for the Spartans, despite the spot and despite what the handicapping was telling us to lay the 7.5 early this week with Michigan State, was a defense for MSU that's getting worked. I said UCLA is the worst scoring defense in the Big Ten, allowing more than 32 points per game. MSU is second worst, allowing more than 30 points per game. And UCLA figured out something last week on the ground against the Penn State side, where they rushed for 280 yards and 3 rushing scores, all 3 of those rushing touchdowns from the quarterback in Nico Iamaleava. Jalen Berger pays it off to pay dirt. He started his career at Michigan State, or actually his second stop in the Big Ten was at MSU, started his career at Wisconsin. So I don't love what I'm seeing out of this Joe Rossi defense for the Spartans, Dustin, despite the fact that number is okay live. And I bet them early this week. Don't think it's the greatest spot for Michigan State so far based on what we have seen in East Lansing.
No, they're laying 2.5. I can get under a field goal right now, and that feels like they're trying to tempt us into doing it. I'm staying away. This is a tricky spot. And if UCLA were to win on the road outright, my goodness. I mean, we'd have to be talking about Jerry Neuheisel, head coach of UCLA next week. Hey, as the season settles in, the NFL market gets sharper. Finding edges isn't easy. That's why you got to become a VSiN Pro. And right now, you can get 40% off everything we do using that promo code LiveBetSaturday, live, L-I-V-E. You'll get VSiN Pro access to everything through the Super Bowl, daily best bets with the leaderboard, betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, plus our 24/7 live video access on the VSiN Watch app, and our all-new NBA betting guide, which is available right now. Offer expires tomorrow. Lock in 40% off today. Go to vsin.com/subscribe. He's Ben Stevens. I'm Dustin Sweetelson. We'll take you through the end of the first half coming up next on Live Bet Saturday.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service.
This is Everett Fitzhugh, the radio voice of the NHL Seattle Kraken. And when I want to catch up with Youngstown sports, I tune in to Western Reserve Radio, WRDB, The Scourge.
The Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. The early window here in Week 7 of the 2025 college football season continues. He is Dustin. I am Ben. This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We have reached the end of the opening quarter in Como. That's Columbia, Missouri, where the number 14 Tigers hosting the number 8 Crimson Tide of Alabama in a tied game, 7 apiece. Alabama into Missouri's red zone as we speak. At the end of the opening 15 minutes, again, tied ball game at 7-all, but with Alabama in striking distance of at least adding another score, Dustin. That live line, the highest we have seen it today, 5.5 in favor of the Crimson Tide. That live total that closed pregame at 51.5, up by basically a touchdown, 57 and a hook. Do any of the live numbers early in Columbia at the end of the first quarter intrigue you?
I know we're not pacing in that direction right now with it being 7-7, but you mentioned it. It could be 21, it could be 14-7, 21 points scored. I think Missouri is going to keep putting up some points here. I would lean with the over. 58.5 at this point in that game, but I'm not touching it. I still like our bet of Missouri plus the 3.5, 4.5, whichever one you got. I think this is going to come down to a field goal. Missouri's going to find a way to answer. We'll see what the Tide do if they can actually punch it in. We've seen this a lot. Teams in the red zone, you run out of yards to run a lot of your best plays, and that's why these drives can stall out at times. So right now, I'm not touching anything there. Ohio State and Illinois, we are still sitting at 51.5 in the total. I bet the under pre-flop. I still like the under. we're learning right now about Luke Altmaier. He is very good against bad teams. He is not good against the great teams. And this Illinois offense cannot get anything going against the Buckeyes. And I think at some point, if Ohio State has a big lead, if it's 28, something like that, they're just going to run the football. They don't want to get injured. They don't want to risk anything. They also don't want to show anything. Because of that, I still like the under in Ohio State, Illinois, as it hasn't budged at all.
Yeah, and Dustin, it's going to be hard for even the best of quarterbacks to get anything done against this Ohio State defense so far this year. We saw Damon Williams last night against Rutgers at home in Seattle go absolutely berserk. 400-plus passing yards, more than 135 on the ground, 2 passing and rushing scores apiece. The first FBS quarterback since at least the history of offensive stats have been fully tracked back in 1995 to put up a game of that caliber with those numbers. And yet against Ohio State a few weeks ago in a huge spot, they only scored 6 points. That's how good this Buckeyes defense is. But as an Illinois backer, really the entirety of this season, but today, taking 14.5 points at home, you're going to need to see some scoring. Illinois' team total to me was the magic number, over under 13.5. Could the Illini get 2 touchdowns to stay even within striking distance, let alone make this game, Dustin, one possession throughout any point of these 60 minutes? And there was an interesting no call on a deep pass from Luke Altmaier where Davison Igbinosun, the corner for Ohio State, was in coverage and certainly looked a little tuggy-tuggy, grabby, but no PI called. So Illinois punts it back. Ohio State on the field as we speak. Don't love any of the numbers there live at this moment, just because the issues I thought the Illini might face are the issues that Illinois is facing as we speak in Memorial Stadium.
Ben, developing situation in East Lansing. UCLA with the football. UCLA in the red zone right now. They're at the 4-yard line, something like the 4-yard line of Sparty. They're up 10-7, and there's a chance that they're about to extend this lead by a lot, and the number has adjusted prematurely just now. Before they've even gotten in the end zone, we flipped. UCLA is your favorite at -2.5. The total's 59.5. I'm happy I didn't get down on Michigan State now. Condolences. There's still a lot of football to be played. You have to wonder, though, do you think Michigan State makes a quarterback change with Aiden Childs unable to move the ball against this UCLA defense? You have to wonder if that's coming at some point in this game, because there's no excuses. You're at home in the Big Ten, early start time for UCLA. You should be winning this game by a lot. And right now, you're about to go down 2 scores as Alabama's in the end zone, Ben. They were backed up on a 3rd and 12, and Isaiah Horton with a 16-yard reception in the end zone, and Alabama's going to go up 14-7.
Ty Simpson, man, again, 3rd best price to win the Heisman Trophy entering Week 7. He has been unreal in this Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb offense. Last week, throwing for better than 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, his first interception of the year. He is one of 3 FBS quarterbacks entering the second weekend of October to throw for at least 13 passing touchdowns this season with only a single interception. Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza, the other 2. And he has been lining up this Missouri defense. And as I said, best rushing defense in the sport so far this year, allowing just a tick over 62 yards per game, but hadn't really been tested vertically, at least outside of Jalen Daniels in the border war. Ty Simpson taking advantage, already 2 touchdown tosses early for the Crimson Tide. Dustin, UCLA just went for it on a 4th and a long 1, and they try to QB sneak with Nico Iamaleava. It looks as though
I think they got it.
They're going to call in the change because the refs have marked it 1st and goal, but that was darn close there inside the 5-yard line of Michigan State.
Yeah, I think they gave it to them. They got it. 1st and goal for UCLA. They're now 1.5-point favorites on the road in East Lansing, minus $1.25 on that money line. I don't know if I can get there, man. I want to get there with UCLA now, but I'm staying away. When you start going back and forth in one individual game, you just got to stay away. You don't have a good read on it. Total's 59.5. I kind of think the over might be the play there, but we're not touching it. We are not touching it. 1st and goal for UCLA. Can Nico find pay dirt? And that would be big, and he does. Wow. A throw into the flats, and UCLA is up 16-7, waiting for a PAT. This just makes you wonder if UCLA, you have to reevaluate how you ever hired Deshaun Foster as your head coach, because all you did was subtract him and your team has taken off to a different level. Can one guy hold an entire team back?
Also, we got to start talking about Tim Skipper, the interim headman wonder, much like we give the credit to Ed Ogeron for doing the same thing. Tim Skipper last year, for the entirety of the year at Fresno State, led the Bulldogs to a bowl game and 6 wins in a difficult spot due to the health concerns of Jeff Tedford. So the fact that he is now doing what he is doing as the interim head coach of UCLA, who, let's not just forget the monumental upset last week, fresh off a bye against Penn State, or at least early in this tenure for them, where Jerry Neuheisel taking over as the interim OC. UCLA had not led for a single second entering last week against Penn State. They trailed early here against the Spartans, now leading by double digits in that live 3.5-point favorite. Total at 61.5. Dustin, to your point, Michigan State in all 3 games they have played against power conference foes this year, Boston College, USC, Nebraska a weekend ago in Lincoln, has gone to the over in a pretty good way each and every time because this Spartans defense is struggling right now, and UCLA is figuring some things out. I'm not sure what the interview process is going to be like for the permanent job in Westwood, but you could look at the head coach, Tim Skipper, right now, or the offensive coordinator in Jerry Neuheisel, both guys making a deserving bid and a good job interview for it at this moment.
Army in the red zone, up 7-0 on Charlotte. 4 minutes to go in the first half, trying to punch it in, go up 2 scores there. Bo Prabula with a big run on 2nd down to set up a 3rd and 1 for Missouri. They convert on 3rd and 1. They are now approaching midfield, Ben. They're at the 45-yard line. I like this from Missouri. I like the answer. I need responses. That is the test of if a team is ready to take the next step for me, is if when you're down, when you're against the ropes, do you have rebuttals? And for Missouri, I think this is a very important drive where you got to walk away with points. I don't mind if it's a field goal and you make it 14-10, but to me, Alabama's kind of showing you that this offense is legit. Ty Simpson is a perfect fit for what Kalen DeBoer wants to do, opposite of what Jalen Milroe was a year ago. And I think because of that, they're going to score. Can you hang with them and be in the mix in the fourth quarter? That is the key for Missouri right now. So I think for this drive with them around midfield, we need to see them end with at least a field goal here.
It feels like after that opening drive that took even less than 3 minutes, Missouri hasn't really been in possession of the football all that often. Yeah. By the way, Alabama, a 4.5-point live favorite. That live total working its way down from its peak of 61 and a hook to 59.5. But just to highlight what Dustin was alluding to for Ty Simpson, 9 of 11 early for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. As many touchdown tosses in a quarter plus as in completions. Missouri's moving the ball well on the ground, 76 yards, 7.6 yards per pop, which I thought was the key for the Tigers today. But again, Dustin, you need that response. About 13 and a half minutes remaining here in the second quarter. Quick check, by the way, in Tallahassee. Both teams have scored. Pitt scored again. The Panthers ahead 14-7 early against FSU. Update of the live number there. Pitt closes a double-digit dog. Now they're only getting 4.5 points. Are we seeing some things there between the Noles and the Panthers?
Man, that would be a massive win for Narduzzi if he can pull that off. I think for Florida State, I'd be concerned. After the upset of Alabama, after losing to Miami and Virginia back-to-back weeks, I'm not going to say they're quitting, but I'm saying the motivation may not be there for them. He's Ben Stevens. I'm Dustin Sweetelson. We'll guide you through the end of the first half in the early window of college football. Coming up next on Live Bet Saturday.
Member Week is back at Lowe's with big savings for pros. Now through October 15th, My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get up to 40% off hundreds of items like paint, tools, building materials, and more. Plus, get free standard shipping. Shop these exclusive member-only savings before they're gone. Not a rewards member? Join for free today. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m. and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done.
You're listening to WRDB, Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, Warren, Salem, and around the world.
At vsin.com/Joe. That's VSIN.com/JOE.
Experience the ultimate pool and watch party at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens, owner and chief executive officer of Circa Las Vegas, and I want to welcome you to Stadium Swim, your year-round destination for nonstop fun. With 3 levels, 6 pools, and a massive 143-foot screen, catch every game, every season. It's the place to be in Las Vegas. Soak up the sun and party all night, 365 days a year at Stadium Swim. Secure your spot now at circalasvegas.com.
This is VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back at it on Live Bet Saturday. This is VSIN, the Sports Betting Network. He's Ben Stevens. I'm Dustin Sweetelson. We got you covered here in the early window of college football Week 7 action. And we've got some developing situations. One, Alabama with a 14-7 lead on Missouri just forced a punt from the Tigers. They have the ball back, and they have a chance to go up 2 scores. In Champaign, I believe you said another Luke Altmaier interception, but I think Illinois has the football now.
Looked like it.
Okay.
Looked like it could have been. Ball was tipped. They actually called pass interference on Davison Igbinosun, gifting Illinois a new set of downs and some yardage as well.
And then in East Lansing, this is the shocker of the day. And it's not that we all thought Sparty was this unstoppable force, but UCLA coming off the high of a win at the Rose Bowl a week ago against Penn State. How would they answer after we see what Jerry Neuheisel wants to do offensively? Well, they're currently winning on the road 17-7, and they're about to go up again, another score. They're in field goal range. They're in the red zone. And for UCLA, you have to go back and wonder, how did Deshaun Foster get this job? I need to know, because all of a sudden you take the head coach away, and this looks like a totally different Bruins team that's inspired, creative, and has a lot of energy right now on the field, Ben.
Head coach is away. We got an interim OC in Jerry Neuheisel, a guy that bleeds UCLA blue and gold. Costino Sunseri in his first time as a play caller coming over from Indiana to Westwood this offseason. That didn't work out. But, of course, the direction of the program after the dismissal of Deshaun Foster looked very different. There was an optimistic view of UCLA this year, winning 3 of their final 5 in Big Ten play, all 3 outright as an underdog. But there was some talent on this roster with the addition of Nico Iamaleava and many others like Javian Thomas from Cal and a pretty good transfer portal roster. But, of course, it just did not work out in the opening month of the season. Whatever Tim Skipper, the interim head coach, and whatever Jerry Neuheisel, the interim OC, have undertaken here is working with flying colors. And, Dustin, we said early that this felt like you either ride the momentum or it comes crashing down. Could it be the spark of something new in Pasadena? Right now, UCLA has all of that momentum on their side. Bad play by Aiden Childs, by the way, for Michigan State. The quarterback double pumping, then got the ball knocked free. It was a turnover that allowed UCLA to basically be in positive territory right away. With over 5 minutes remaining in the opening half, a 2nd and goal awaits the Bruins. They're a live 6.5-point favorite.
Want to note, with Alabama up 14-7 on the road in Columbia, looking at the live Heisman market that is available, Ty Simpson is currently tied for the top odds on the board with Carson Beck and Dante Moore at 6-1. So that is worth noting here. If Ty Simpson can go on the road to Columbia and he can put up big-time numbers, we're talking about a guy, despite that opening loss against Florida State, he could be your favorite by himself before the week is over in college football. And it looks like UCLA, we've got a 3rd and goal situation for them. I mean, you have to imagine, Ben, that they would kick the field goal in such short range and go up 20-17 if they're stopped here. But for 4:21 to go, there's a flag on this play. 4:21 to go here in the half for Sparty. You definitely want to limit them to a field goal and hope you can run a 4-minute drive and get points on the board, either negate the field goal or score a touchdown and get closer to back in this. But from a betting perspective, UCLA up 17-7, they're laying 7.5 in this game, total 61.5. We are reaching the point where I have to consider plus 7.5 on Michigan State, though, Ben. Like we're approaching that territory where I like Jonathan Smith. I think he's a good coach. I have to believe he's able to make some adjustments in the second half, at least after seeing what UCLA wants to do offensively here in the first half.
You got to think something is going to happen at the quarterback spot. You might be ahead of me right here. 3rd and goal from the 12 for the Bruins. And there's a wide open wide receiver into the end zone for UCLA. Nico Iamaleava, his 2nd passing touchdown of the day. UCLA is about to take a 24-7 lead with still more than 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Michigan State, listen, there have been 2 coaching hires in the last few years in the Big Ten that I thought were rock star moves. Wisconsin adding Luke Fickell. Michigan State hiring Jonathan Smith.
Yeah.
Starting to trend that way. The guy that he brought over, though, to call his defense in Joe Rossi, who had experience in this conference and a lot of success at Minnesota. Listen, when you are starting to feel that heat, when the seat becomes very, very warm, you start to make some changes to your coaching staff for what has not worked. If they lose this game and drop to winless 0-3, that being Michigan State in East Lansing, come this afternoon, Dustin, I don't think Joe Rossi has a job as the defensive coordinator come tomorrow afternoon in EL either.
No, I think you're right about that. But I keep coming back to this Deshaun Foster thing. Like, look, there was a public element where it was a train wreck with some of the quotes, Big Ten Media Day, we're UCLA, we're in law. He didn't have anything prepared. He got caught in the moment on the microphone. There was probably an echo in the building that he wasn't used to. But at the same time, everyone associated with hiring and agreeing that Deshaun Foster should be the guy to replace Chip Kelly, that was clearly a move made to save money because he was already on staff. And you look at the elimination of Foster and how the team has responded, everyone involved in hiring him should not be allowed to hire whoever that next UCLA head coach is. And while I'm hesitant to say you give it to the interim guy, because I don't think that usually works out in the long run, I do think there's an argument to be made for Tim Skipper and Jerry Neuheisel if that's the combination going forward, because this is the best UCLA football has looked in a very long time, Ben.
Martin Jarmon is the athletic director in Westwood who hired Deshaun Foster, who was a part of that process and still remains the AD. That's been a huge part of the conversation, undergoing this search, all the limitations, real or not, that UCLA faces as this program playing at the Rose Bowl, the deficit in the athletic department, all of that. The athletic department still remains the same under the direction of AD Martin Jarmon. If I'm mispronouncing his last name, my apologies. But still, he is the guy in charge of what we presume to be yet another head coaching search. I'm not sure he has to look all that far, but that might have been the issue with the hiring of Deshaun Foster, who, by the way, just to say, was put in a very tough spot mid-February after Chip Kelly took the job as the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. It is a double-digit live spread, though, in favor of the Bruins. Still in the first half, still with more than 4 minutes remaining. Michigan State closed with a lot of sharp money on the Spartans and a lot of public money on the Bruins as an 8.5-point favorite today inside Spartan Stadium. Alabama, by the way, Dustin, did get a field goal. They now lead 17-7 with about 7.5 minutes remaining in the first half, and they are a double-digit live favorite, laying 10 and a hook. I can't tell what the live over-under is at this moment, but Missouri is a half point away from covering, and both you and I thought this game would be decided by a single possession. Does the plus 10.5 for Eli Drinkwitz and company look a little bit enticing?
Yeah, but I'd rather take a worse number and see how they do on this drive, because I need them to answer. I need them to find some points. They scored on their opening drive, which a lot of teams can do with that scripted stuff. The question is, after there's a counter punch, how can you adjust as an offense as the defense makes theirs? I need to see Missouri do it. They've picked up a few chunk plays along the way, but they haven't finished their drives. That is the problem here. That is my concern. So I'd rather see how this drive goes for the Tigers in this spot. Looking at the odds pre-flop for UCLA, I was just curious what it was money line. They were plus 220 on the money line to win outright at Michigan State. And this is one of those spots where, like, as a bettor, you look for opportunities, and the opportunity was there to fade UCLA. It made all the sense in the world. And when you lose a bet like this, if this is how it finishes, you just tip your cap to the kids. You go, hey, man, great job. I didn't think you'd be able to do it 2 weeks in a row. You proved me wrong. That's a loss. You move on to fight another day. But situationally, you fade UCLA every single time. Coming off a win like they were a week ago against Penn State at home, and then having to travel to East Lansing for an early start time, everything said to bet Sparty. The problem is, as you touched on, Jonathan Smith, it is not working out in East Lansing, and I am shocked by that. I thought this guy was one of the up-and-coming coaches that was going to end up at, like, in Alabama one day when he was at Oregon State. He was that impressive, having to do more with less, and we're just not seeing the development there, and Aiden Childs is part of it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And Aiden Childs was his guy in Corvallis from the Los Angeles area that he recruited to be the quarterback of the future for Oregon State. And that's what Jonathan Smith, even during his time as the offensive coordinator at Washington, has done better than most. He is perceived as this offensive guru, a quarterback whisperer, all the terms that you hear lauded there. Michigan State needs a response. The only silver lining for Sparty right now, Dustin, is they have a lot of time to work with to get another score before we enter the halftime break. Illinois, by the way, trying to find some momentum offensively. Looks like that drive might have just stalled right there. The Buckeyes still posting a shutout, leading 10-zip. Missouri back on the field, trailing by 10. And a quick development in two spots I just want to mention. Pitt still ahead of Florida State in Doak Campbell, 14-7. Cincinnati looks like a really good team in the Big 12. They're up 14-zip over UCF at home in Nippert Stadium. They are inside UCF's 10-yard line, looking to add on another score. And a team that ran for 260 yards last week at home against Iowa State is racking it up on the ground against the Knights team that is winless 0-2 in Big 12 play after a perfect 3-0 non-con start to this year. Brendan Sorsby is playing some really high-level quarterbacking right now for the Bearcats, and we're seeing that early once again, Dustin, in Week 7.
How about Louisiana up 7-0 on James Madison right now? And it looks like they were attempting a long field goal, and it was blocked by the Dukes. So the Dukes take over. 6:48 to go in the first half. I laid a bad number. James Madison's laying under a touchdown right now. That is something, if I didn't already have my bet that's going to be a loser minus 17.5, I would think about going under a touchdown because JMU is just the better team, and they're going to have to make some big-time adjustments here. In Columbia, it looks like there's maybe a turnover for Missouri. There's a scrum for the football. Who's going to end up with it? We're waiting. They're fighting it out on the ground. Alabama with that 10-point lead, 6:10 to go in the game. I think Alabama has the football. I don't know. No, it's Missouri. All right, we'll get it sorted out when we come back. He's Ben Stevens. I'm Dustin Sweetelson. Keep it with us here on Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday 10 to 4 and Saturday 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane, they got gas.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
To the stations that are always ahead of the game. Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast. Youngstown, Ohio.
And find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Looking for an edge on NFL player props? VSiN Pro's new NFL player prop projections tool is here. It compares DraftKings lines with Opta-powered AI projections, so you can see where the numbers differ and spot potential value before you place your bets. Our player prop projections tool is available now exclusively for VSiN Pro subscribers. Go to VSiN.com/props to check out this tool and more. Only on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We welcome you back to Live Bet Saturday right here on VSiN in a great early window, a part of a wonderful Saturday of college football in Week 7. He's Dustin, I am Ben. Dustin, in our two ranked versus ranked top 25 tilts right from the jump. We've got two defenses with their teams trailing by double digits, trying to step up and make some plays to hold down the opposing offense. It looks as though Illinois just did that against Ohio State. The Buckeyes quickly into Illini territory after what appeared to be a fake punt gone wrong for Brett Bielema and team. 4th and 6 awaits the Buckeyes, more than likely a field goal try from Jaden Fielding, as the Buckeyes will look to take a 13-zip lead. You just mentioned it. Missouri making a stop defensively, a huge sack that should take Alabama out of field goal range. The Tigers trailing 17-7. Maybe the biggest home game in Columbia, Missouri for Mizzou football in more than a decade. Dustin, we are really in the thick of it here as we approach the halftime breaks in these two really significant spots around the country in college football. And just to say, Jaden Fielding, good for the second time today. Ohio State ahead 13-zip in Champaign.
We're trending nicely for that under there. We have James Madison on the board. They are going to tie it up with Louisiana under 5 minutes to go in the first half. And then I just can't stop looking at the score, man. UCLA has the football, and they're up 24-7 with 2:41 to go in the half. I'm telling you, if they score a touchdown on this drive and they go up 31-7 at the break, I wouldn't let Jonathan Smith come out for the second half. You fire him on the spot. It's already not going well. You eat the money, you buy it out. It's clearly not working. Look what it did for UCLA moving on from their head coach. Sometimes you have to acknowledge when you made a bad decision and it was a bad fit. I was with you. I thought Jonathan Smith was a home run. I thought Michigan State was going to get back and have their next Mark D'Antonio. It seemed like that situation with the age, with the experience, and the offensive play calling ability. But you can't get punked by UCLA. I'll flip the script, though. Does UCLA, now proving that they might be good with Jerry Neuheisel calling plays, does it lessen the blow of what they did to Penn State for Penn State's playoff hopes down the line?
See, I don't think so. I still think that is a damning loss for the Nittany Lions unless UCLA really goes on a run here. Again, UCLA won 3 of its final Big Ten games a season ago, all outright as an underdog. That means that UCLA's last 5 Big Ten wins, if they do win this game outright, all have come as a dog. They're a live 16.5-point favorite. I think to your point, Dustin, it's more damning in this spot for the Spartans because this was your opportunity. You're at home as more than a touchdown favorite to get your first conference victory of the year and get year number 2 under Jonathan Smith, at least back on the tracks for a little bit of time. This is working the complete opposite way for UCLA. I do want to mention, maybe not an upset brewing perhaps, but just an underdog to keep an eye on. Dustin, we had a game kicked off at 9:45 a.m. Pacific, 12:45 p.m. Eastern in the Grove, where Ole Miss, the number 4 team in the country, with one of the great stories this year in college football, the Ferris State transfer Trinidad Chambliss, playing unreal at the quarterback spot. Weird non-conference game early in October, taking on a Wazoo team that is struggling out there in Pullman. And Ole Miss was a 33.5-point favorite at home today in Oxford. We are nearly at the end of our opening quarter, and Ole Miss has not scored. The Cougs lead 7-zip early in Oxford. It's a 20.5-point live spread now in favor of the Rebs. Zevi Eckhouse, the full-time starting quarterback for Wazoo, he's got a little juice for this Jimmy Rogers team.
Yeah, we're up to 21.5. I was thinking about the minus 20 and a hook. 21.5 just because the key number. I'll stay away for now. But, man, that would be brutal. You have to assume Ole Miss will figure it out offensively. By the way, I'm watching Missouri and Alabama as Missouri just picked up a few yards through the air. Bo Prabula's throwing off his back foot a lot. He's under pressure, and when he's not under pressure, he's hearing footsteps. He's a little bit cautious because he has some PTSD within this game. You know what? They didn't pick up much. There was a 1-yard pass. Just Prabula was on the move so much that it looked like it was bigger than it was. Here's Ahmad Hardy with a big right in the gut. Oh, baby, that's what we needed from Missouri. They are in field goal range now, under 3 minutes to go. Here's the key, though, Ben, as we look at the adjustment in the market real quickly. It is back to Alabama laying 9.5, total of 53.5. Missouri's got to be careful. Can't leave too much time on the clock. If you're only going to end up with a field goal, you can't let Alabama